Okay.
So the question I have for you, Bella, is: are you coming on this field trip, or are you got your
Yeah.
own things to do? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I don't have any plans. It's fine.
Cool. All
Yeah.
right. So the coterie turns up at the university, um, and Jimmy leads you to this particular laboratory. Shannon, what does the laboratory look like? What do they come into when they get out of the elevator? I'm assuming there's an elevator.
Yeah, it's not the newest part of the university. The equipment's quite used, quite old, but still functional. Medium-sized room, beakers and microscopes and other bits and pieces. Shannon's got a lab coat on and is hunched over a petri dish, holding some little droppers.
All right. And as you come out, Jimmy says, "Excuse me, Mr. Lindstrom, Mr. Lindstrom."
Jimmy,
Yeah.
Jimmy, come in.
Yeah. Hi. I just brought a couple of people to come and meet you. I really feel like you could be an asset to our operation, and I thought maybe that these are my employers, and they could probably use your help if I don't know. I'm just it's just a suggestion.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
This is Mr.
Hey,
Chase.
hi.
This is Mr. Hamilton. Chase Hamilton.
He puts out his hand.
Hey, and Chase puts his hand out.
Nice to meet you. I'm Shannon.
Good to meet you too.
This is Belladonna.
Hello.
Miss Rivers. Miss Rivers. I'm sorry, Miss Rivers.
I would prefer being called by my first name, actually. So.
Oh, my apologies, then. Belladonna.
Hmm.
And this is, he looks at you, Vincent, trying to decide whether to call you by your first or last name. Mr. Vincent Dews.
Pleasure to meet you, Shannon.
Hey, nice to meet you. Come
Shannon,
on in.
Shannon, can you make a perception and actually an intelligence and investigation check?
All right.
Do you know how to do this?
No.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to scroll to the bottom of your character sheet, right?
Okay,
and you can see
sheet.
there's some red writing towards the bottom of your character sheet that says dice pools.
Yes.
You'll see there's two lists. Now, if you do a drop down on the left, you can scroll down to perception, and then drop down on the right-hand side and drop down to investigation.
Investigation.
Right.
And then click the little dice.
Click the little dice. Now, it may come up with a little box with an input value.
Yes.
That says pull mod. Don't change that right now. You use that when you get extra dice for some reason. Cool. Okay, but that would add numbers to your dice mod. So you go submit. Then it comes up with input value difficulty. Difficulty should be 6.
6, all right.
Difficulty is not always going to be 6, but most of the time it is 6. That's the standard difficulty for a check in this game.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so you just hit submit again. Now you should have you could, it either rolls the dice immediately or it's going to, you have to drag your cursor across the screen to roll the dice.
What? I don't know.
Are you doing the dice roller? Because
I clicked it.
So annoying.
Did it just roll dice automatically?
It disappeared.
Bodhi had 0 successes. Actually, that's what happened. Okay. So you had 1, 2, 2, 3, 5, 6. All right, never mind then. You have in fact you have not seen Vincent Dew's enormous billboard posters of himself around the city. So that's what that check is for.
Very inattentive.
Bring those down.
Right. Okay. So, I don't know. Do we want to stand around here in the lab, or what are you doing? Do you have time for like a coffee or something?
Yeah. Are you looking to buy or sorry, Jimmy, you hadn't really
sure
quite the details.
I'm happy to buy you a coffee if you want. Sure.
I'll just close up here.
A drink, right, Jimmy? He turns around to you. To Chase.
Yeah. Sure.
He puts his hand on your shoulder and squeezes it like a drink, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, a drink. Yes.
All right. So Jimmy's starts wandering back to the lift. Well, how
Shannon
about
just packs up some of the petri dishes and puts them in the fridge, and follows. Lab coat off. Gothic club wear underneath the lab coat.
Nice.
You might have bumped into him at the Succubus Club the other night.
Or maybe he was the gimp at the other club.
He might have been the gimp at the other club.
Yes.
That's terrible. But so good. Okay.
And he follows.
All right. So 5 minutes later, you guys find yourselves in the closest, probably the coffee shop that's on campus. Right?
Is it still open? How late is it?
That is a great question. How late is it? Well, this doesn't have to be. I initially, when I started the scene, my idea was it was a flashback. So it doesn't even have to be on the timeline per se, but seeing as everybody's here, it could be. What do you guys want to do? Consensus, timeline, or non-timeline?
Non-timeline?
Okay.
Yeah.
Why don't we just go with the flow? This is
Go
cool.
with the flow.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
Cool. Yeah, there's a coffee shop open. It's
open.
Chicago.
Yeah, exactly. It's not like New Zealand where things actually close at like 9 o'clock or something. That's irritating. Okay, so you're in the coffee shop. It's quiet. Somebody comes over to you and asks you if you want something. She's got a notepad.
Yeah, I have a Americano.
Writes it down. She goes away.
I was about to order a flat white and I realized they don't do that in the States.
Right.
Would they do that in 99 anyway? Like, what was it just coffee back then?
Can I just have a coffee?
Yeah.
Coffee.
Okay. The 90s was not that far away. I'm just
I know,
saying that
but
there was
I don't
espresso in the
remember
90s.
seeing
We did have
Yes.
different coffees in the 90s. What we didn't have was vanilla spice lattes. Sorry, pumpkin spice lattes. Or vanilla soy spice lattes and shit like that. Anyway, enough about that.
Shannon orders a coffee.
Right. Very good. It comes and it's placed on the table and it's now the elephant in the room.
I'm just gonna sniff it.
Smells like coffee.
The smell of coffee.
I always prefer tea. Speaking the past tense.
So what are y'all looking for? I'm currently Shannon looks around, make sure there's no one eavesdropping.
All right.
No one listening.
Does not appear to be anybody eavesdropping or listening.
So currently I'm only doing acid, LSD, but I am looking to branch out. Jimmy said you might have some resources.
Yeah, well,
Where's Jimmy?
Vince,
I'm gonna give him a pat on the back.
Vince, you're going to make a hospital investment, aren't you? At
I,
some point?
perhaps we'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
So
I'm looking to start a helicopter company.
I can't help with that.
No, but,
Good, congratulations.
but I can help you distribute, move things. See? You make, I move.
So what I was talking about with Shannon here is like the possibility of an upgraded lab, maybe with some investment. He looks over at Vincent, and maybe we could build a lab and then we can distribute on a wider kind of network scale. It's just an idea. I mean, who am I?
That would be fantastic. I'm set to graduate next year, so I won't be able to use my current op. Yeah, have you all tried my stuff? Is that how, or is this just Jimmy's word of mouth?
Jimmy looks at the rest of you.
I've known Jimmy for quite a while now, and Jimmy's always been quite reliable of a source. So,
do you remember, Vincent, in Vietnam, there was that, and he names this particular strand, this particular brand of LSD that you guys did that one time that was fucking amazing in Ho Chi Minh.
Like the Superman drops, yes, I remember those quite well.
Right, it was just like the Superman, dude. I mean, like I remember it like it was exactly like that, exactly like that.
Have you got any ideas for future different types of products, perhaps as well, besides LSD?
Yeah, I mean, what do you need? I'm thinking E, MDMA, that I've been looking into that right now. It really depends on what kind of equipment you could hook me up with. Shannon reaches into a bag and pulls out a few little baggies and slips you one each. Is a free samples.
I'll
Yeah,
have
this
to
is what I'm
get,
currently working on.
I'll have to get Sora to try this later.
Where is Sora anyway? Says Jimmy to you.
Oh, she's probably looking after Rita.
Oh, right. Is she okay?
Yeah, I hope so.
Just I'm just checking. You know, I just want to make sure everybody's good.
Are you enjoying her company there a little bit, Jimmy?
I don't know what kind of aspersions you're casting here, but I'm not sure.
Either way,
I'm like lit up. I'm smiling.
We're definitely interested, Shannon. I mean, we've obviously got means for distribution at this point, and you know, with those means, a good cook is always, you know, something that we need to work on. There's a new drug that's been floating around. It only recently was discovered.
Yeah.
It's such a loud keyboard,
It's a
Russell.
very loud keyboard.
Sorry, guys.
Hey, you! Could you stop doing that? We're talking over here. Thank you.
So loud.
Sorry.
What's with these people and their laptops these days? They're so loud.
It's so big. How can you put that in your lap? Anyway.
Have you heard of this new drug that's been going around the streets called crystal before?
Are you talking about meth?
Yeah, well, just recently
No.
they started changing drugs. Apparently, you can take straight product and you can turn it into crystal, and it's something that's very new in the 90s.
Yeah.
Apparently, quite addictive, which you know definitely works for my profit margins, and you know much higher sell-through rates as well.
Yeah, I've heard about it. I don't really know how it's produced. I would want to do some more research first.
Well, we can definitely set you up with a lab. That's not a problem. Any finances you require for cooking and stuff, I'm sure we can come to an arrangement. Chase here would obviously be the person to discuss in terms of, you know, distribution and everything like that. And you know,
Chase, you're Chase. Cool.
Chase is over here.
I'm Chase.
You're Vince. Cool.
I'm
Right.
Chase. He's Vince.
I'm Bella. Hi.
Bella.
And this is
Awesome.
Bella.
Yes, good.
No, we didn't do the
And-
introduction.
And I'm Jimmy. I did introduce you
You
guys.
did. You did.
Yeah.
You did. I'm just putting.
Bella's our quality controller, aren't you, Bella?
Oh, I'm not taking part in your business here. I have my own honest business. I want to keep it that way.
It's an honest business.
I'm very honest.
I'll
Yeah,
partake.
business.
But, you know, I don't.
What
You guys do
business
your
is
thing,
that, by
alright?
the way, Bella? I've never heard of it before.
A holistic medicine New Age
Oh,
store.
that's right. So,
Yeah.
so you sell crystals that to people for exorbitant prices, and then you know
No, fair
No?
prices.
fair prices.
Always
There-
fair.
There's
yeah.
no scam involved with that at all.
Of course not.
Yeah, completely. Okay.
They have their own energy, their own resonances, and that's what people need in their lives. You know how more calm you would be if you just had a few crystals in your pocket day to day.
Well, I mean,
Maybe some essential oils.
the crystals that we're going to sell would make people calm sometimes as well. So I'm, you know, dare I say, you know, depends on who the buyer is, right?
And like, we're not forcing them to have the product, are we? They're deciding to have it themselves.
Lords of War, aren't you guys? Anyway,
Either way, I'm definitely interested. And if you are Shannon, you know, I'd say welcome to the team as long as Chase is, you know, happy with that.
Awesome.
I'm happy with it.
I mean, we can talk the cuts later and that kind of thing. But obviously, if you're bankrolling a whole lab, then yes.
That
Oh
wouldn't be a
man.
problem.
Awesome. What do you need from me?
how's your coffee?
Yes, it's great. Do you want?
I
I'm not going to buy you one, but do you want to? I could ask.
Just drink it.
Ask them.
Could you drink it very slowly and describe the flavor for Bella here?
Yeah.
Coffee. This one's a little burned, like that roast, that over roast. I don't.
Useless.
It's not the best.
Interesting.
I get up and I walk to the register. I come back and then I sprinkle a little bit of cinnamon in the coffee. Try that. That's how I used to love it.
Used to. Oh, you don't. You're on decaf now. Is that?
Yeah.
Makes you jittery.
But it's good to hear what people, I live
this is fantastic.
vicariously through other people. Yeah.
No, this is great. Yes, cinnamon. I love it. Thank you. Cool. He chugs the rest. Doesn't savor it, just up and back.
All right. Very good. It's gone.
Vince is the good coffee maker.
All right.
What?
Cool. Yeah. Do you what's your timeline? What do you need from me?
Well, obviously specifications on what you're going to require for the lab, the type of equipment. If we can get a list of all of that, we can.
Yeah, absolutely.
Why don't we ask them, if they could use a weapon or something? Like, if you guys are. Oh, sorry. Can you use any weapons or? Could you wield a beaker as a weapon if you needed to?
Sorry. What?
This is just in case, right?
You never know. It's kind of hypothetical.
Yeah.
She likes to ask hypothetical questions just in case this kind of thing was ever to come up.
Yeah, if the world was to implode tomorrow, what would you have done today? I just say trying to save myself.
Asking human resources questions.
Partying later. I've got some sales on the way, and then going to the local club.
Partying. What clubs do you frequent? Have you been to the Succubus Club or the Rose by any chance?
Rose Garden.
Would I have been?
There's a very high chance, given the description of what you're wearing, that you have been to either or both of those clubs.
At least the Succubus Club.
The Succubus Club is not that far away, so that's quite likely. The Rose Garden is in Gary, Indiana, which is about an hour to an hour and a half away, but is actually worth the trip.
Yeah, Succubus Club. Some of my best clients are there.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah.
Do you know the owner by chance?
No, I'm not quite sure if they'll be chill with me selling in their space, so I try not to be too conspicuous.
I'm sure it's something might be able to be arranged for that. It's a very good club, and the owner's a very, very shrewd business person.
Oh, cool! You know them?
Yes, we do. Yeah.
Oh yeah, awesome! I'd love an introduction. I know I can't wield a beaker as a weapon. I don't fight. I'm not. Are we gonna have security?
Yes.
Hold talk. Press to talk, Chase, if you want.
Never know. Come on, Chase. Come on, there you go.
Yes, we'll have security. There's no two ways about that.
Cool. I don't like fighting, and that's not my thing.
Okay.
So what else is your thing? Were you studying anything else? History, perhaps? Into the occult? I hear there's subjects on that at Chicago these days, strangely enough.
No, just science. I did a little bit of med in my undergrad.
So you're going to say meth, but okay,
medicine. Science, med, a little biochemistry is my major, but
and your plans for the future? Do you want to become the normal medical doctor, or?
Well, that was the original plan, but this business is quite lucrative, and I think especially with your generous resources, I could see a future where this is, my career. It took me a few years, but I've perfected, like, man, my LSD. I mean, Jimmy told you the Superman, is great. Not to toot my own horn, but he said it's like the Superman. I don't know what that reference was. I just thought it was like something else you'd taken.
Oh yes, a long time ago. It was quite popular in Vietnam. It's quite well used in Vietnam.
Oh wow, yeah.
Well, I'm happy with how this meeting went. How should we proceed?
Can I ask what you look like? I don't know if you went through that, but yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm basically this.
But with the lab coat. And
well, he left the lab coat in the lab. So he does have his kind of like science, goggles and mask and hood and gloves when he's working, but otherwise, like.
So you look the way that you look is what you're okay. Gotcha.
But otherwise, club kid vibe, like 90s gothic rave style outside of the lab. Yeah.
Do you know what we look like?
No.
Okay.
All right.
Should we perhaps go into that?
That's a good idea. I know that Bodhi has watched a couple of episodes, so I kind of assumed that he would have some clue, but that's fair because it doesn't always come up during the episodes, and if you're skipping through videos, you don't want to, you might easily miss a description. So go on, let's hear. Seeing as you brought it up, Charlie, you start.
Okay. Well, I'm a tan, athletic, slender woman with brown hair that goes to like blondish, sun-kissed tips. She's like half American, half she's
Caucasian,
she's fully American, half Caucasian, half American, and a Native American.
Right.
And she has one gray eye, one brown eye, and she also has like a white streak in her hair. She also dresses like a hippie, like a boho chick. Yeah. So when you think vampire, you do not think this person. That's for sure.
Right.
Why
so
would
she's
you?
all beads and flowy brown patterned dresses.
Yeah, and like bangles and
right.
When you think boho, that's her.
Yeah. Okay.
And the white guys.
The white guys. Okay. So Vincent.
Oh, I look like Al Pacino from early year Godfather Al Pacino. So back when he was, not as big as he is today, but younger Al Pacino.
Right.
Yes.
My fashion sense is going to be all over the place as I adjust to certain fashions of the time. But for some strange reason, I'll always look kind of like I'm from the 20s, but not, I won't look exactly like I fit in at this point.
Right.
Is it the hair? It's the hair. Right.
It's the hair. It's sort of the fashion style. He doesn't, like he's really bad at fashion or something.
Is there something like he wears cufflinks and he likes to wear like suspenders, not suspenders, but suspenders.
Excuse me, I wore suspenders 3 days ago. There's nothing wrong with wearing suspenders.
I like these. The suspenders are really cool.
Practical.
Actually, they're really cool. Yeah. Yeah. And they give you a wedgie, which if you enjoy that sort of thing,
Oh, no, I don't get a wedgie. No.
Just kidding.
I think you need to loosen your suspenders.
No.
All right, Barry, what does Chase look like?
Okay, use that button of yours, Chase.
You've got to press the button.
You pressed it twice.
Nope. Try again.
There's nobody in the kitchen, so I don't have to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Right. I look like there was a program years ago called Spencer for Hire, so I look like that guy. I'm about medium height, sort of plain looking, good looking to some people, not so to others. And that's about it. It looks 60s kind of dressed almost, 60s to 70s. Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, you should probably what's Jimmy look like as well? Yeah.
Remember he got like blown up at one point. With scars.
I don't.
Russell, we cannot hear you.
Russell.
Jimmy has burn scars on his face. Yeah. Sorry, I was typing and I thought I would. Yeah. I would.
I appreciate that.
There you go. See, that's going to be $1. Just kidding.
Also, Shannon sounds like he. Oh, sorry.
Charlie was trying to introduce me to the idea of adding microtransactions to my role-playing games.
Oh, so we can buy rolls.
Pay to win.
Pay to win. Yeah.
Pay to win. Yeah.
Where do I attach my credit card? Let's go.
I guess that's a special game for that.
Sword, please. Master flaming sword.
Sure, you can.
Excellent.
You're going to run around in an anime nurse outfit as well, and a spaceship.
Oh God. Sorry.
Yeah.
I just want a stealth helicopter that's too up to date,
Right. You can have that for $400.
Should also ask for a cloaking ability.
Right. I don't have $400.
Well, pay to win, bro.
Pay to win. As long as I can move like I'm in the Matrix, let's do this.
Right. No pay to win. That is not our model.
Okay. No. All right. Okay. Down to seriousness. Okay. Right.
So Shannon's scrolling a list here of lab equipment that he's going to need.
Jimmy's looking over your shoulder, looking at that lab list and making his own notes. Notes about your notes.
Cool. And he adds kind of where you could get it or things that have to be ordered. Some of this is quite big.
Let me know if you need any plots or anything. I can help you out with that.
Plants. Yeah.
What kind of
resources?
Not to forget crystals. If you need crystals, she's got lots of crystals.
What kind of real estate kind of a space do you think we're going to need for this? Do you think this is going to be like a warehouse or an apartment, or what are we going to need for this?
Small warehouse. You saw the size of the lab that we just came from.
Right.
That's plenty. Yeah.
And we're going to have it kind of so that we don't have people walking in. Obviously, that's
somewhere underground, maybe.
Underground.
Underground would be fantastic. Yeah,
and
something no windows,
air conditioning, AC,
ventilation.
Yeah,
I'm thinking Gary would probably be the best bet for a location. There's so much cheap real estate out there, and
back in the day, there used to be like people that would have like marijuana farms and stuff. They'd have hidden all their shit underground.
Trust me, they're still there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we could get a farm or something. Anyway, I don't know. You'll figure it out.
Out of game, are we just going to go full Breaking Bad on this and just open a laundromat and
right. So out of game. So here's I guess what I need to ask you guys at this point, because obviously we're integrating a new player, and my objective was to make it as easy for him to get into the game as possible. So starting off as a ghoul seemed like a good idea.
Hell yeah.
Now, and you seem to be pretty keen on that idea too, which. Yeah, it's cool. Okay, so we want to get up to speed as fast as possible, in so much as that we can. I don't actually personally care whether we explore the main storyline immediately or not. Like, because the main storyline is these guys are part of a team that have a job. That job does not actually include making drugs or millions of dollars from making drugs, but that is a side hustle that they certainly would benefit from. And I know that you've all been sort of talking about side hustles. Barry's helicopter business, you with your real estate, and Belle's got her crystal, etc. business over there. Right. But I mean, Belle's not really after making more money anyway. She doesn't really care so much about that.
I figured out what I do want though. So
right.
If anyone wants to know.
But what I need as DM right now is to find a way to get this guy, Gould, ASAP, part of the team, ASAP, and part of the unit that goes and does stuff. Like if he becomes he needs to be useful to the team, Basically, that's my objective, is to make him useful to the team. So if you've got any ideas about that, and obviously we're just metagaming and shooting the breeze right now, that's cool. Bring it up. Now's the time.
Okay.
So, Shannon, how would you like to come back to my place for dinner? We can discuss terms, and we can go over it there once you've got your list fully together, and we can kind of do it in a little bit more of a casual setting, which isn't a cafe in the middle of the city.
Yeah, fantastic. Right now?
Yeah, sure. Let's do it right now. Let's go. I've got a limo outside.
Are you inviting Soul, or is it just you guys?
Oh, me?
Yeah, we absolutely,
if you
everyone. Come on, let's go. I'm sure we can.
Yeah,
Well,
I'm looking forward to
me
be
and-
outraged a bit more.
Me and Chase actually already live there, so we're going. And I've discovered where the refrigerator is.
Should I maybe bring us to bring Rita and Sora?
Absolutely.
Okay.
It depends. Does Jimmy want Sora to come?
Jimmy needs to make a self-control roll, not to blush.
Of course he does. Would it be hard to tell if he's blushing?
It's not hard to tell because he is blushing.
So
Yeah.
freaking cute.
Actually, yeah. I mean, with the scars and stuff, yeah, that would make a difference, wouldn't it? But there's parts of his face that aren't scarred, so yeah.
Red
Right.
as fuck.
Yeah.
Red from
And
the
I
burns.
don't see his scars anyway.
Why is he scarred though? Why didn't Chase just heal that?
Chase wasn't available to do it at the time.
No. No, I wasn't.
So, long story short, you end up in a limo driving to what's the address, Vincent? You've got the address, you've got the house and everything.
Gosh, I can't remember. Somewhere in Lincoln Park, anyway.
Lincoln Park.
That's-
It's like it's real, but it's also weird.
It's real.
It was named after Lincoln Park because they used to perform at a really crappy dive bar in Lincoln Park, and that's where
Wow.
they got their original name. Just
Um,
random.
I'm sending a text to Sora.
Technically, we would be listening to them because at this point they're running around demoing and playing in
Right.
like crappy bars.
You
so-
need to Google them.
Oh, that'd be great. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So let's say you get to the house. Zora's on her way. Long story short, you're at the house. Tell us about it. You're the DM now, Vincent. Tell us what's going on.
Oh shit. Okay. All right. So you arrive at a mansion. It's a old 1920s building, all made of stone. There are a couple of statues right at the front door, and they're holding up the pillars like it's a very antique kind of mansion. Really, what do they call it? Baroque period design and everything. Typical Austrian-made home.
Right.
And yeah, so you open up the doors and you walk in, and so it's just a palatial mansion. I can probably give you a link. I just found it of photos if you need them. But yeah, it's a nice place.
Haven't seen anything like weird in here. DM.
Anything weird? Have you seen anything weird in here?
Because it's so freaking old. Have
you ever gone wandering around by yourself?
She hasn't wandered around by herself yet.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for her to do so.
Yeah, not on my own. However, I might actually go and look for Julia because someone outrages me with her presence every time. So I'm going to make sure she's not in a Barney suit.
As you
or
walk
any other
in, there are
mascot.
3 people. As you walk in, there are 3 people standing there. There's Julia and 2 other servants, for instance.
Okay, what's she wearing?
Librarian outfit today.
A what now?
A typical power suit librarian outfit at this point in time, because she kind of put some clothes on. As Vincent walks in, he's like, I don't know if I like that outfit. But that's all he says.
Vincent.
You see her face kind of twitch with a tick.
Think you look fantastic.
Better than yesterday.
She stares down at the ground, and you notice that her hands are in fists next to her sides.
Is this one of there's 2 servants?
It's one of Vincent's servants, yeah.
Julia. Okay. I gave you pictures, by
Julia.
the way. In the chat, there's pictures of the house in case you kind of need an
Zoom
idea.
chat. Yeah.
Shall we make our way into the parlor and we can discuss ideas and down there?
Sure. Jimmy goes pushing through. He goes, if you don't mind, I'm just going to be in the kitchen for a few minutes.
No worries. Help yourself.
I might get Shannon. Would you like a sandwich?
Yeah,
Oh,
whatever you
good.
got. Thanks.
Sure.
Cool, Jimmy. Good work.
I assume nobody else here wants a sandwich. He looks around at the rest of the group.
I'm very full at the moment.
I thought so.
Zora and Rita are coming over. So
I'll make them a sandwich too.
Yeah.
And
I can get Benson to make a dinner, a feast. Actually, I haven't had a feast here in a little while.
Well, we can have a feast, sure, but I'm going to make a sandwich.
Okay.
Shannon leans over to Jimmy. Is there something wrong with the sandwiches? Why don't they?
No, they're just full. They just ate before they came.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Sorry. Yeah, cool. Okay. Yeah, whatever. Put anything on. I ate anything.
Benson,
Cool.
we got some guests coming over. Can we have a feast, an actual feast? We can do the dining room and everything.
Yes, sir. Of course we can.
Break out the cutlery.
Breaking out the cutlery, sir. Benson goes and organizes this and starts setting up the dining room, which is, down the hallway. All right. Meantime, Jimmy's making sandwiches, and you guys are in the parlor, is it?
Yep, the parlor, and I'm going to take Chase aside for a second. I'll be 2 minutes, guys. I'm just going to have a discussion with Chase here.
All right.
Isn't it just
cool.
me? Or you guys were in the kitchen?
So that leaves, well, no, just
and
Jimmy's
Shannon
in the kitchen. Shannon's still in the parlor with you, Charlie, as far as I'm aware.
So,
Hi.
Hi.
so what are we
with
looking
me?
at?
Yeah.
What's the plan?
We need to do breakout rooms.
So Chase, he obviously knows what he's doing, but are you sure that you can trust him at this point in time?
Well, there's ways we can kind of make sure that we can trust him.
And what were you thinking, Chase?
I was thinking he'd make somebody a great ghoul. Question is, which somebody? You, me?
Have you seen Julia and how she just runs amok and does whatever she wants? I've got my hands full of guilds. So
Do you really want Julia? Really?
wow.
Give her to me. Give her to me.
Wouldn't you like to get yourself another security guard that doesn't drive you crazy?
No. I made a promise that I would take care of Julia and make sure that her life is a living hell. So
When you
I'm
say-
gonna.
Brother, I love you. I do. You mean a lot to me. But when you say take care of Julia, your version of taking care of Julia is different from my version of taking care of Julia. And she's going to be our head of security, isn't she?
Well, yeah, but she has a roof
But-
over her head. She has a bed, and like I even gave her a sheet the other day. Just one.
Uh,
Not get carried away.
I would prefer a security person that doesn't want to kill me every 5 seconds of her natural life. You've got to be nicer to Julia. I know we saw hard times in Vietnam, but you've got to be nicer to Julia, okay? Because
Did you see what she was wearing today? I am nicer. I mean, normally this time it's Barney outfit. It's Barney outfit day today.
that Barney outfit day.
For some reason I like went to put the Barney outfit on her and it was all like clawed up. I don't know who did that.
Brother, what clan do you come from again?
No, I'm a Ventru. Why is that?
You sure? You sure? You really sure?
Yeah, I'm sure, Chase. And you know what? I feel that this is your operation. Like that's the way this was going to be set up. So I think you should take Shannon under your wing and give him look after him. I think that would be your deal. So I'm thinking we're about to have a feast. Perhaps some wine could be a bit special.
Yeah,
No?
yeah. I've already thought of that. Okay, there. Okay, I'll take the responsibility then.
Excellent.
All right. The other thing is, I love you, brother. I really do. Okay. Right. He walks off wondering if he's being a Malkavian in the right sense of the word at all, really. Maybe he's not being a Malkavian in the right sense of the word. Okay. All right. He comes back in.
And I walk off thinking about what a Batman outfit would look like.
On Julia?
On Julia, yeah.
Freaking sick.
Okay. All right.
Vincent, sick fuck. Okay. Meanwhile, Charlie and Shannon, you are in the parlor.
Just tinkering with all the little knickknacks and stuff. Just if they're
walking around the room, tinkering with things, picking things up, putting them down. They all look very old. They all look like they're from, like anywhere from 80 to 100 years or more.
That back. I'm not judging that.
Stuff just looks expensive. There's a bunch of Venetian blue glass on a bunch of shelves. Tell me if I'm wrong, Vincent, but I'm just making up shit.
Go for it.
There's a bunch of with a bit of antique pottery and stuff on shelves too. All of the stuff on the side table and the main table is all antique. Everything is antique. Even the doilies look a little bit yellowed.
So how? Sorry,
you go. No, that's okay.
This awkward conversation
so awkward.
ensues between these two strangers.
Okay, how about, here's another hypothetical question. If you could live forever, what good would you do in the world?
Oh man.
Yeah.
I mean, if I could live forever, I'd probably actually go back and do med school properly and cure cancer. Maybe do some political stuff to make sure that drugs are legal. I don't know why they're not. It's so stupid. Yeah, I mean, if you could live forever,
what you're saying.
you can learn. Oh, yeah, I'd just probably study everything, science, chemistry, physics, astrology, astrophysics. Oh man, space, history. Yeah, I'd probably just stay at the unis a lot.
Yeah.
How about you?
Oh wow.
Okay, Chase is going to go off and get some wine.
Okay.
I walk in and overhear the conversation and just.
Yeah, I guess I get interrupted.
No one's interrupting you, but Chase, you are going to the kitchen. You're going to organize to put something in the wine, I'm assuming, and then have just allow the servants to bring the wine rather than bringing it yourself.
No, I'm going to bring it myself to show humbleness.
Right. Okay. So you bring a bottle of wine and some cups, I assume, some glasses.
Yeah.
So yeah, Bella,
I've already poured it out and stuff.
What's your tray?
Yeah.
What good would you do in the world if you could live forever, Bella? That's a good question.
Well, travel the world. That's what I used to do when I was younger. Almost putting my foot in my mouth.
How old does Bella look?
Like mid-20s.
Okay.
Yeah, I have to say mid-20s. Like, you haven't asked what her actual age is.
No.
What her age is. So
when you were younger, you look like my age, maybe.
Yep.
Okay. Did your parents travel a lot?
Actually, no. I had to break away from that. I left when I was quite young, like 15 or 16. It was one of them. It's so long ago.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And so Shannon, if you were immortal and you had nothing you had to worry about in this world, what evil would you do? Assuming they've asked about the good things, then no one can bother you. Who's going to bother with you? If you could mess with anyone, do anything, kill anyone, what would you do?
No, I don't. I don't think I would. I mean, like, the government thinks what I do is evil, and you know, like, I tell people what, you know, how to take things safely, but I can't. I can't. I can't stop them. Like,
Vincent,
sometimes
can you
they.
get that?
I'll get that. I'll get it for you. I've got the tray here. Hang on. Wait.
But I wouldn't want to. There's no one I want to hurt. That's not really my vibe. Like I said earlier, I don't even really like to fight that much. I just
I'm gonna,
yeah.
So
I just wanna make
you're a
people happy.
non-combatant, as they said in
Yeah.
I'm gonna look to Vincent and smile, knowing that he's going to be good and not evil.
I stick my nose up in the air a little bit, and I'm just like,
But I'm trying to figure out. There's no draft. I would have been in the 90s in the States. If I'm 27,
you wouldn't have been drafted. No, there's no chance of a draft. I don't think so.
Okay, cool.
no, definitely not. No, the Gulf War they didn't draft for, and the war before that was Vietnam, and yeah, you were definitely not even alive at that.
Okay.
point, so
Yeah, just cool. Just checking. Yeah. Yeah. No, I don't. That's not my thing. I mean, if I had to be in a war zone, I'd be a medic as much as I could. I mean, I didn't quite make it through med school, which is why I'm doing biochemistry.
Or you could have been a reporter, says Jimmy. You could have been a reporter too. For a photographer. These are also options for, you know, to be in a war zone if you want to be a pacifist.
Yeah.
As well as a nurse, you know, there's possibilities. But
I don't think we should be encouraging any type of reporting here, Jimmy.
Well, that's true. You're probably right there. That's probably true. I didn't think about that. Sorry, Vincent. I didn't think about that. No. Oh,
Zora's probably here.
Yeah, that sounds like the door.
Why didn't you go get it?
He gets up and leaves.
So how do you all know?
Sorry, what?
How do you all know each other? Because Bella, you said you've got your own business, so you're not business partners?
Oh no. No. How do we know each other? I guess we're just friends of a friend. Yeah. And then we ended up hanging out.
So Chase comes in with a large tray of glasses and a bottle of wine. Question, Chase. I'm assuming, because it will be awkward otherwise, that you have thought this through and decided to put the blood wine in one particular cup that you're planning to give him. You are speaking in silent tones.
I give it to him literally, and I say, "This is for you. Try some of this. See what you think."
Right, you pass him that glass.
And I pass it to everybody else, even though I know they're not gonna.
Right. You don't know that. You know they're not going to drink from it. Fair enough. Okay. So.
Cheers.
And Jimmy.
What are you doing, Chase?
Jimmy and Zora come in about that time. And Zora looks around. You want to describe Zora for Shannon?
Yeah, Zora is she's about mid-30s looking, beautiful woman. She has a shawl around her, a white shawl. She is also a hippie, but she's more of like a hippie that's aged a little bit more and become a bit more mature. She looks like a priestess
with a veil as well on her face, across her face.
Yeah. I mean, she probably uses the shawl as a veil.
Right.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
She'll have a whole bunch of like bangles and stuff. Pretty much, you can tell that like Bells and Zora would be friends. Right. From the way they dress. And then there's Rita.
Right.
Could be there too.
Rita, who doesn't look too much like the pair of them, very much. Rita's probably, unless, I mean, have you spent any money on Rita lately? On her outfits or anything like that? Or is she wearing like track pants and a hoodie?
Whatever she wants, we will find it in the budget.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, not like, we're not going to go crazy or anything.
Well, I think Zora has convinced her to go out shopping at some point, and so Rita's self-esteem has improved somewhat since last we met, and she's now wearing she's still a hood rat, right? She's still a bit of a gangbanger. And that's very hard for her to get away from, given that she's got like tattoos and shit on her face, and just her whole life has been built this way. But she might be wearing something that might be a little bit more employment oriented right now, because of the fact that, you know, you're at Vincent's mansion, and so they know they were going there. So she's probably wearing jeans and a jacket. Yeah, but she's really very nothing to write home about in any particular way, on any obvious level at least.
I'm gonna run over and give her a hug.
I would say that Rita may have dreads or cornrows.
Nice. I'm gonna
Zora.
ask where her kitty is. Have I squished the cat? I'm giving her a hug.
This time the cat's at home.
You left him behind?
Well, I had to, because you know, I know that we could get ourselves into some situations, and I don't want to put the cat through that.
Okay. I'll introduce Zora and Rita to Shannon.
And Jimmy, being a clever bastard, he immediately picks up the spare glasses of wine and swipes them out from in front of the vampires and passes them to the ghouls.
Oh, that's what I was going to do. Nice. Zora, pleasure to meet you. I've heard so many good things about you from Jimmy.
Thank you very much. You must be the one, Vincent Hughes.
Yes, pleasure to meet you. Yeah, have my glass. It's all yours.
Thank you. Very well. And
I'm gonna look at him and be like, I'm gonna look at Chase now and be like, I can't read his.
That's my Superman impression. Sorry, it's too many references to old games. Sorry, Shannon.
He comes up close to you and he says, "Can I speak to you outside, please? Please, out."
To who?
To Shannon, I assume.
No,
To who?
to Belle.
Oh, to Belle.
Sure. I'll just be like, Zora, hold off and drink that for the time being. Anyway,
I'll sit there talking more about Jimmy to Zora while they go off then.
Okay.
Shannon just starts sipping the wine.
Shannon starts sipping the wine. Okay, so Shannon, this wine is the most amazing wine you've ever tasted in your life. This wine is making you feel fucking great. In fact, you're wondering whether this has got the shit in it that you made, because this is, you're like, you go into a sweat, then you go into a chill, and you go into a sweat again, and then everything just evens out, and you're feeling so strong and healthy. And that zip that you had on your wrist this morning, that's just vanished. And, you know, all these little things like that are just feeling really good, you know. And Chase,
great.
Chase is such a nice guy. That guy Chase, what a dude. You'd love that guy now. No? Yeah. Feeling a bit more perceptive than usual as well, you know.
Can I get a bottle of this? This is damn good wine.
It's quite old. It's
Chase sound.
As they're going out, Chase says, maybe tomorrow. It's a rare bottle. Rare bottle.
Right, yeah, I wouldn't want to raid your stash. Thank you so much.
Yeah, maybe tomorrow.
Right.
And then he takes the bell outside. He shuts the door and he goes, What? I didn't understand what you were trying to tell me.
I was wondering if you put like your blood in all of them, in all the cups. I assume that's what you were up to, right? You were very shifty before.
Me? Shifty? Yeah. I didn't mean to be shifty, but yes. Unless
like all of them.
Did you put it in all the cups? I thought you only put it in one cup.
No, not all the cups. No. Is that what you said?
That's what she said.
No.
I was gonna say, all of a sudden, Zora really likes you and doesn't have a thing for Jimmy anymore.
I told her not to.
No,
Told her not to drink
definitely
it.
not. No.
Okay,
Only
good.
only one. The one I gave him.
All right.
Yeah, that's why I gave it to him first.
Well,
I wouldn't do that to you. You'd hit me with a crystal or something.
I would probably claw out your heart.
Yeah,
So yeah.
I've seen how that goes for people. I don't want to see it in practice. Yeah. No, don't worry. Just one.
Okay, good. Good.
Yeah. Okay, it's fine. Right.
Could be worried there, but I think he's a good choice. So good job, Chase.
Good job, Chase.
Yeah, but I was going to ask
He's
you.
so nice. Yeah.
I was going to ask you. What did you find out? What's he aiming for in life?
I think you should ask
If
him
he
that.
had a long life, what would he be aiming for?
Ask him. Don't
okay.
ask me.
Well, I thought you
If
being
he's
a
your
woman,
retainer,
you'd
then
talk to him
you
first.
might as well do it. I will chase out of the room. Oh, let's go. Come on.
Okay.
Vincent, seriously, you need to put that laptop away. Oh,
We bring that guy back with us or what? The one from the, coffee bar, because I'm sure I can still hear him. Okay.
Sorry.
so Shannon,
Fucking loud.
are you a very good typer?
Typer, yeah. Yeah, we got to type reports at the lab and stuff. I don't have my own gear, but yeah, I can type.
So something you should know about us. We take privacy very seriously. Obviously, the nature of our jobs and what we do. But I'd like to officially welcome you to the group. It's it's good to have another warm body around the place. Never know when that it'll just be good to have another person in the group.
Yeah, thank you. You're so generous.
Make sure not to spill a drop. There's very expensive wine there.
I won't.
Chase. Oi, Chase. Hey, Chase.
What? I'm thinking.
You should tell him.
Tell him what?
Tell him that you've done this. Actually, really, you should have given him the opportunity to question if he wanted this. But now that you've done it, you gotta tell him.
Now?
He's only had one.
Yeah.
He's only had one. And besides,
Are you his other personality?
And besides,
Oh yeah, I'm like the bad devil on the shoulder. He's only had one, Chase. Don't worry about it.
And besides that, even if I was,
That kind of works with his delusions and Vietnam connection.
and besides that, even if he has all of them, he can still change his own mind, and I can still tell him he never went through it.
I think you should tell him. From a friend of yours to you and all the other yous, you should tell him. Okay? I told you my position. If you don't want to, that's up to you. But I think you're being cruel.
I think don't tell him, Chase. I think you should do whatever.
I'm
you
the angel
fucking
then. I'm the angel.
Stop! Everybody stop. Okay, where is everybody, first of all? Because I don't think you're all in the same room. Otherwise,
No,
you're sitting in front of Shannon having this conversation. I don't think that's happening.
Don't
Oh,
tell me what.
didn't they walk back in? Yeah, I thought
No,
they
we
were
went to
walking back
another
in.
room.
Oh, you did good.
Yeah.
Okay, well then I'm still
I
chatting
would have some
Zora.
questions if this was happening here.
Right, exactly. And further to that, I also want to add that because it is Chase's blood that you drank in particular, and he is a child of Malkav, you are experiencing hallucinations. The darkest hallucinations that you've probably ever seen. Like there's this stuff creeping through the walls. You can you can sense the whatever that lives in the fabric of space and time is present, and it's watching you. You can feel this sensation of time passing, and that every moment is the beat of your heart, and your life is running out like a sandglass.
Shannon puts the glass down on a tabletop. Do you have a restroom I could use?
Absolutely. There's one just up the stairs and to your left.
Shannon heads out and follows those directions.
I whisper to Benson just to keep an eye on him, just make sure he's okay.
All right. So Benson is going to keep an eye on him. Okay. So one of the servants follows you up the corridor and just stands outside the bathroom, listening for any.
You mean the whole thing? The whole thing?
Yeah. Like, what would you have wanted if it was you?
Oh, well,
Would you like to know what you're experiencing? Why you were experiencing it? For me, I would want to know what is happening.
you got a point. You got a point. I would have liked to have at least, yeah, you got a point. Okay, go back in and talk to him. All right.
Okay, I'm gonna go. While he goes that way, I'm gonna go find Julie's room and shred the rest of her shitty outfits.
All right. So you're shredding more outfits in Julie's room.
Yeah.
Okay. I go back in. He's not there, is he?
He's not there. So what is going on with you right now then, Shannon? You're in the bathroom.
Shannon's splashing his face and wiping his arms. I think I must have spilt some of my stuff on me. I was in full gear, but
trying to work out just where the contamination happened.
Yeah.
Right.
He's assumed he spilled some of his chemicals on him before he left the lab, so he's just doing a thorough scrub with the soap, arms, face, neck, just to make sure there's no more.
Right.
And he emerges from the bathroom, just kind of wet hair, wet face, wet arms, and dabbing off, and comes back into the room.
So one other thing before we do continue, a little bit more metagaming. Shannon, or should I say Bodhi, he's most interested in playing, what did you say, a Tremere, a Nos, or possibly a Malkavian, ultimately?
Yeah, I'm leaning towards eventually Tremere or Nosferatu. I think could be cool for Shannon, but that's kind of long term. Like, I'm happy to be a ghoul for a while if that makes more sense to the story. Yeah, maybe a Malk if those two are off the table.
Right. Well, I mean, we do have Joe, and Joe is a Tremere, but he's not going to be in every game. So he'll be in it, like in the nighttime game, he'll be in that, and not necessarily always either. But so he could be the Tremere connection.
Technically, you're on your way to being a Melk at this point as well. So
yeah, there's that. So
you get to decide.
Yeah, absolutely.
It is your choice. So, but we will work together as a group to metagame you into that correct situation.
You're not going to go very well at the clubs as a Nosferatu, though. I don't think. I don't know how that's going to work.
Are you kidding?
Well,
people love things that are out of the normal. So
the clubs that Shannon goes to, maybe.
Never know. Right. So, continuing straight along. I'm sitting back now.
Vince, what did you do with him?
Nothing. I'd like to say that probably just that Malkavian wine's pretty strong.
Oh, jeez, God. Hang on. Where'd he go?
Shannon comes back into the room.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, my face is wet, my arms are wet, my hair's a bit wet. I'm just like,
Shannon, old buddy.
hey, yeah, sorry about that. I
It's fine. It's fine. I've got to have a little discussion with you about this.
Oops, you lost your sound.
My hand fell off the what's the name. Let's have a little talk, saying we're going to be doing business together.
Yeah, absolutely. What do you need?
Okay, right. He takes you into another room. He says, right, what I'm about to talk to you about now is you're going to think a little weird, okay? You're going to think it's a little strange. But I'm looking at you and I'm telling you what I'm about to tell you is real. Okay?
Okay.
Okay. And first thing I want to tell you is I like you, so I'll always keep you safe under any condition, all right?
I like you too.
Good. Right. You know, a few minutes ago you might have been feeling really good. Really
Yeah,
good.
that wine was fantastic.
Yeah. And you might be a little bit confused in your head. A little bit.
Did you put something in my wine?
I did.
I did. Man, I'm so stupid.
That's all right. It won't kill you. In fact, my friend, it will give you greater strength, longer life, and enhance you in just about every way possible. And I'm standing by the door, Russell.
Okay. Blocking the door. Okay.
It will enhance you in every way possible.
Is this a new recipe? Is this what Vincent was asking about with the new street drugs?
You mean the Superman thing?
Yeah.
No, this is far better than the Superman thing.
Yeah, I feel stronger. I also the walls are shifting a little bit, but I thought maybe that might just be me. The chemicals, maybe I didn't mask off properly back at the lab.
Okay. Now, I'm about to tell you that at this moment, I'm giving you a special choice, and it is entirely up to you. If you decide against it, then I've got a way of taking the effects of what's happening to you away, all right? And you will never know you were here, you won't know me, all this sort of stuff, but you'll be able to be normal and go back to what you're doing. Are we clear on that?
Back to what I was?
Yes, back to what you was, because the little gift I gave you has made you just slightly different. All right? In a good way, as I said, it's enhanced everything about you. You'll notice you can see better, you can hear better, you can all sorts of things. So
yeah.
Are we still comfortable talking on the subject so far?
Yeah. Question for storyteller. These
Yes, sir.
visuals or like hallucinations, is there an emotion, like an emotional unease that comes with that, or is it just like visually things are kind of weird, or is that affecting me emotionally as well, what I'm seeing?
I mean, look,
other than seeing things as weird, but like, you know what I mean?
Right. Well, I mean, okay, so you're being affected by the Malkavian blood in particular, which has got madness in it, and it will cause madness in the individual, right? So what it's going to do is it's going to go into your psyche, it's going to find whatever is the nearest thing to madness that you have experienced, whatever traumas that you've been through, whatever weird shit you've thought about or done, and it's going to amp that up to 11. So yeah, it's definitely going to be an emotional component to that. Madness rarely comes without an emotional component, unless it's like total psychopathy. So that would be a different type of madness. But yeah, does that work for you?
Yeah, cool. Thank you. Yeah, cool. I'm on board so far. I'd really love to know what you put in the drink.
I did consider letting the madness be part of your part of Chase's madness. Like it could have been like you're hearing the voices that he hears, but I think that might be too much.
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe it's. I think it's just you. I think it's just your own stuff.
I would agree with that.
Okay. Now I want you to sit and listen. I'm using dominate.
You're using dominate.
Yeah.
I sit down and listen.
Okay. So okay. So you don't need to roll.
Okay. All right. This is the hard part. This is the part you're going to go, oh, you're kidding me, man. This is not cool. Da, da, da. Now, you've heard of mythical creatures, haven't you?
Yeah, like griffins.
Almost. Try again.
A manticore. Yes, I've heard of mythical creatures.
Yes, you've heard of mythical creatures. Well, I'm one of them. I'm a mythical creature. I'm what they call
a unicorn.
It's when the job interview turns wild and you're like, oh God, one of these guys. Fuck. I really need the money, dude. Well, couldn't you have just been normal?
I'm what they call a vampire. Haven't you noticed we don't drink? We don't eat.
I mean, yeah, you're full. Shannon looks around for cameras.
Is there a camera in this room, Vincent?
Yeah. Oh.
There's every chance there was. Hey, come back and focus, damn it. Here we go. Shannon, are you? How seriously is your character taking this conversation right now? Like, is he? Not at all.
He doesn't believe what is being told.
He's a scientist at heart. Right?
Yes.
He is the last thing he's going to do is just believe this stuff. Right. Okay. So
he thinks it's funny. He's chuckling. Yeah.
You want to make a self-control check to see if you just openly laugh?
I think I just openly laugh.
Openly laugh anyway. Okay, cool.
Good, Hal. That's how I thought you'd react. So, we got to prove it, don't we? Okay. I hate the proving part. It really hurts sometimes. Okay. He gets out his gun, puts it to his chest, and blows his chest out.
He just shoots himself in the chest.
Yeah.
Why?
I'm from Vietnam. They don't fuck around.
Okay, I'm walking into the room now, just saying, like, this wasn't the noise we're expecting.
Gunshot, right. So the gun goes off. You go running to the room, I'm guessing.
I'll do the same.
You guys are trying to burst into which room is this? What room is it? What is this room like? How is this a big room, a small room?
It's been my bedroom for a while.
Okay, so this is your bedroom room. Okay, cool. So what's in this room?
Yeah,
there's a bed, there's a box,
there's a box, there's Vietnam stuff, there's,
model helicopters.
Yeah. Why not? There's model helicopters. I love helicopters.
Maybe there's a radio-controlled helicopter that Jimmy's got you sitting on.
Yeah, that kind of stuff.
All the windows have been blacked out. Okay.
And I stand up and I say, now watch. And I pump the blood to heal in front of his eyes.
You're like, watch.
Watch this. Okay.
And he heals up in front of you.
You guys are right in there?
Yeah, we're fine.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
More importantly, how are my walls? Seriously.
There's one little hole. Now, one.
Chase your ass.
Malkavians, man.
I'd evict that guy.
Before you go crazy, and I know you're thinking, at this moment, but don't worry, because I'm not one of those vampires that goes along and kills you brutally and takes all your blood vampires.
Oh,
There are
sounds like it's
vampires
going
like that,
horribly.
but I'm not one of them. Okay? I'm the good guy vampires.
I mean, it
there
is
are
Chase. What
good
did you
guy
expect, really?
vampires. All right. Now, you've seen that. Are you over the moment? Because if you are, let me know.
Shannon gets up and slowly touches where the healed wound was,
Right.
just to see if this person is solid, that it's not an illusion.
He is.
I've got to get a new shirt now, but okay.
So Chase, this is your room. You've got shirts. You've got a cupboard full of
Yeah,
shirts.
Just excuse me for a minute.
So you're taking off your shirt and putting on a new shirt while you're having this conversation.
Yeah. So as you can see, I'm what I said I am, and I've got the teeth to prove it.
So you show him your teeth too now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now,
Okay.
are we convinced?
Where's Bella and
Did you
Vincent?
just shoot
We're just
yourself?
We're
just out by
outside
the
thinking
door.
this is going poorly.
Yeah.
You got your heads to the door. I'm
Yeah.
guessing.
Chase is
thing-
probably yelling anyway.
Shut up! The thing is, you can't tell anybody what I am.
No one would believe me anyway, but yeah, how did you did you just shoot yourself?
Yes, I just shot myself. Normally other people shoot me, but, you know.
And put a hole in my wall. Yeah, through the door.
Is there a hole in the wall?
Is there a hole in the wall? Well, Barry, what? I mean, you shot yourself with what? It was
With a Glock.
with a Glock.
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
Would a Glock go through a person and into the wall?
Yeah,
Close range?
definitely. It's got enough kick to do that.
Should do right. Okay.
I
Because
go and
went,
touch
boom,
the wall and
boom.
poke my hole in my finger in the hole.
Put my hole in the finger.
Hi.
Now,
Not tonight. My finger in the hole.
Not tonight,
in the wall.
Josephine.
leave the hole alone. We got to talk about this. You cannot tell anybody that I am, all right? Because then I would have to kill you, and I don't want to have to kill you. But herein lies the big question. Do you, what I did when I gave you my blood, wait till I get a bucket. Hang on. I get, a little rubbish bucket on the side.
All right, trash can bucket.
Yeah.
Okay.
I gave you my blood. Now, my blood, if
The wine.
Yes.
The
yes,
wine.
Yes. You can have it in coffee. You can have it in certain mixtures, so it's not so. Now, if you choose to be what we call my retainer, I use retainer because it sounds better than ghoul. Now, if you
It's like
choose...
a financial thing.
Pardon?
Is that a financial thing?
A retainer?
A retainer?
Oh, yes.
Sorry, I
yes.
didn't mean to interrupt.
No, that's fine. I'm happy that you did. You just interrupt when you feel like it. Now, if you want to continue to be my retainer, then I had to give you my blood 2 more times on different days, on different evenings. Days is not good for me, the whole sun comes down, that part's real, all right? All right, the whole sun thing is real.
Mhm.
Yes.
Right, yeah, okay.
So now you know that, and the whole fire thing is real. Don't like those things, not crazy about them.
Okay, so question. At this point, where's Shannon at now? How convinced or unconvinced is he? Or is he just like, I'm going insane?
Shannon believes that Chase is something not human.
Right.
I don't know whether he's buying the vampire thing right now or if he thinks this is like some military science
Government
project.
science, fucking aliens.
But he's like,
but vampires.
but he's no longer laughing.
Right.
This is something legit.
Something
is happening here.
He saw something, right?
And he's taking in all the information with some skepticism on that, but like taking it a lot more seriously now. Yeah.
Now, if you want to continue this, if you want to get the benefits of being a retainer, then you and I will continue on the base that we are going. And maybe someday, if you want to, I can change you into one of me.
What
you will live for as long as I live.
Okay, cool. You alive, good. Table that for now. What does me being your retainer have to do with? I thought I was doing we're doing a business contract with Vincent, your business partner.
Yes, it's a
part of that.
Giving you my blood is a way of sealing the deal.
Oh, okay. It's like a contract.
Yes, it's like a contract. Jimmy will tell you more about it. He's a retainer. He will fill you in more.
Yeah, I mean, it's not bad for me, right? Like I said, there's it's not gonna hurt me.
No. You will, as I said, live longer, be stronger. You will be able to achieve more things in your life than you possibly could imagine.
But I still get to run my lab up.
Yes, you get to run your lab. You get to go out and have hamburgers because you can still move in the daylight. You can move in the daylight. I can't move in the daylight.
And would I have to do other things for you?
Yes, you'd have to help Jimmy with certain things. And
Jimmy your retainer?
He is what the vampires call a head retainer. He is my main man.
Jimmy's your main man. Got it.
Yeah.
Cool. What sort of things? Like I said, I don't
simple
fight
things
good.
Like say Jimmy can't wants to bank some of my money. He can't this particular day. He might get you to go to the bank and do it, if you know what I mean.
Okay, cool. Like just assistance.
Yeah. Basically
stuff.
An assistant. You'll still be able to do your whole and anything you want to do. If you want to go to university, you can go to university. In fact, you'll live long enough to go to many universities as often as you want.
Cool. Wait, is this why Bella asked me earlier about was that wait, are you all is she oh yeah, I mean I came here to make an agreement with y'all. I didn't think this would be the way of sealing the deal.
Like I said, if you don't want to do this, you don't have to. Because I'll just look in your eyes and you'll forget everything. And go back to your normal life, like it never happened.
Wait a minute. Let's just make sure that you can do that. I mean, you're telling him that.
I'm sure I can. Sure, I had been Mirage.
Level 3?
You don't have level 3, Dominic.
Well, what's level 2 then?
Suggestion.
suggestion I can suggest to you, or take you to somebody else who will wipe your mind and you'll never know what happened.
So your blood is safe. How do you know it's safe?
How do I know my blood is safe?
Does Jimmy
Yes, Jimmy
drink
has my
your
blood within
blood?
him. Yes, he has my blood.
For how long?
Since Vietnam. Since after Vietnam.
Is that 72?
It's in the 60s.
Or when did your tour finish? Because
My
the Vietnam War went for a long time.
my tour, yeah, it finished in the 70s.
Yeah, it's like
But I only did 3 tours.
did 3 tours.
Yeah,
Only
3 tours of duty.
All right.
One because I went home and my family didn't like what I was doing, and neither did anybody else. And I
Went back.
went back because that's the only place I knew.
Right. Fair enough. Okay.
How old does Jimmy look?
Jimmy looks about, what is it? It's about 30.
So if I'm assuming he's 30, he would have been, if he actually was 30, he would have been like 5 years old during the end of Nam. Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, all right. Yes. Do I have to sign something? No, you said I have to drink your blood, but not tonight.
Tomorrow and the next night.
Okay, but I can still go back to my lab. Are you gonna keep me here?
No,
Do you have a dungeon? Do you have a dungeon?
We're gonna do exactly what we told you we're gonna do. We're gonna make you a lab, and that's where you're gonna be when you want to be. If you want to go out and get, let me see. Like I said before, if you want to go out and get a hamburger, as long as you don't tell anybody about us, we're fine. Okay.
My lips are sealed.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, sure. Okay, yes.
Okay, so you want to continue with this then?
Yeah.
Okay, remember.
Yeah,
certainly you feel the best you've ever felt in your life right now.
Except for the hallucinations.
Except for the hallucinations.
Now, listen,
you know, can you make a self-control check and see if we can just
regular
squish those hallucinations?
Oh, I can squish them?
Let's see if you can with a self-control check. You just tell them to fuck off and maybe you can, ignore them.
I've lost my dice.
Might be hard to explain how to do that.
Right, so if you need to make a self-control check, that's true, you won't know right now. Okay, so on the left-hand side of your screen on Roll20, there's a bar, starting with an arrow at the top and a question mark at the bottom. The second one up from the bottom is the D20 button, and if you hover over it, you'll see options for D10s. Uh-huh. You want to roll as many D10s as you have in your self-control, which you know that number. I don't need to say it out loud.
Self-control, that many D10s.
Yep. And just...
I clicked it.
All right. So a 10 and a 1. Okay, so this is interesting. A 1 is a botch and a 10 is an automatic success. So those two cancel each other out. But you have a 9, which is also a very good success. So right now the hallucinations are at a low point.
Okay. Where do I see my rolls, or can you only see them?
No, you can see them if you know the big bar on the right hand side of Roll20. You go to the first tab that's got the little chat icon, and then scroll to the bottom. That is your log.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
No worries.
All right, so I managed to kind of shut them out a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Do we shake on it, or how?
Well, if you want to shake on it, we'll shake on it, of course. But
I'll shake on it.
And he shakes your hand and he says, "Now, I come from the clan Melcab, and it's a little bit mentally unstable. For instance, yes. there are other clans, and I'll go through those with you as we meet them, pretty much. And I'll tell you other things, but I don't think I should bomb you with absolutely everything at this moment.
Yes, thank you. It's a lot to process.
Of course.
So meanwhile, outside the room, are you guys still listening in, or?
Yeah, we're listening in. In fact, I'm pretty sure we made bets on whether Chase is going to botch it and he's going to make a run for it. That's, we're waiting in the wings in case.
Just wondering how he could break the Masquerade right now.
Right.
That's a daily occurrence for us.
Oh, you fellas and your lack of faith.
Right.
I don't know.
That's what friends are for. Okay.
And then I'm like, I shredded all of Julia's outfits. There aren't power suits. Sorry, Vincent.
Zora, where's Zora right now?
She would be in the kitchen with Rita.
And Jimmy?
Was it in the kitchen? Yeah.
They were in the parlor at one point.
The parlor, yes.
Go for it.
So yeah, that's where they will be.
Okay. All right.
I walk into the parlor and turn the radio on to Unchained Melody by the Righteous Brothers, and then walk out again.
Can you just tune the radio to do that? Or do you just automatically have that set up?
I have a feeling it might have been a tape.
Yeah.
or a disc. We did have CDs back then in the 90s.
Yeah. Wow. Actually, CDs are pretty crap back then. I'd say it probably would have been a tape or a record. I'll go with record. Yeah.
I don't think I've used CDs since the 90s. Anyway. Okay. Well, we can either wait till Shannon gets back, or you can continue with a scene outside the room. You guys. But...
Right. I did what you said.
Oh, you've come out, have you?
Yes. No, I'm popping my head out.
Hi.
Okay.
I'm
it's
glad.
all done. It's fine. I did exactly what you said.
You
Good idea.
him. I mean, you shot the wall, right? Wait.
No, I shot me. No, I shot me.
You shot yourself.
Yeah.
Okay, I quickly look in the room. How much blood is on my walls right now?
Oh my god.
How much blood? Not that much blood.
Seriously, Chase? Seriously. I invite you in. You've been in the house for one night, and you've already covered my room in blood. What the hell?
There are other ways of saying that you're a vampire.
Did you think maybe you could just cut your hand? That would have worked like a lot more, a lot more effective.
No.
Could have been subtle.
No.
Didn't have to be.
Yeah.
No.
Volcavian level epic.
You know me. When am I subtle? Vince?
When it's most
I
convenient, probably.
Pardon?
With nothing.
When I was 1 year old, I was subtle. My mother said I was a very subtle child, but not now.
In Vietnam, did you take plastering courses by any chance? Because that's what you're going to be doing tomorrow.
You want me to plaster the wall?
There's a bloody big hole in it. Look at it. Like, seriously.
Turn that into a window or something? Oh, it's on the wrong side. Oops. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. I'll get Jimmy to plaster it for me. I'll help him. We'll both do it together.
You're not traumatized, are you?
So I look over at Shannon. I stare him straight into the eye and I say, "So, how do you feel about this?" And I'm using dominate.
Goodbye, camera.
Oh God.
Is this when you take a photo again?
No, this is me trying to get my fucking speakers to work.
Oh.
Stupid machines. You can keep talking.
I think there's a dominate attempt happening.
Yep.
Yeah, there's a dominate attempt happening. I just gotta bring that up because
I'm hiding my hands right now. I'm just.
Let me see here. Manipulation leadership. I'm doing this anyway. It's fine.
Feel comfortable with this.
4 successes. You'll be telling me everything. You're good. Oh.
What the living fuck is going on now?
So the question was, how do I feel right now?
Yeah, how do you feel with the whole, what's going on?
And I'm just compelled to tell you the truth. Right?
Well, you could make a roll to see.
4 successes. No way. You beat that.
That's
I don't
true.
think Shannon can. It's a lot. It's a lot to process.
Honestly, I would have thought that he would have come out with it before he gave his blood to you.
Oh, some people you just can't
Right.
satisfy.
Chase,
See, I wouldn't have said a thing. I'm just, that's interesting.
I'm
Yeah,
probably
look at
imbibed
Mr.
with
Subtlety
worse.
up there.
Oh yeah. If you basically, I'll show you my hands, and they're like long claws. Like this is what I can do.
They weren't like that before.
No.
Okay.
No. They can do a lot of damage. I could probably like wrench the door from the door hole. Door hole.
At some stage, because it will take too long, I'll tell him all about what we do and the prince and all this sort of stuff. But
Oh, I'll show you.
I look
this
over
other-
at Bella's claws and I say, that's interesting. I've seen those claw marks on a few bits of clothing recently.
Crazy,
Are there little bits of cloth and stuff trapped under your nails?
maybe.
Threads.
Probably. Also, I can do
Can you
this,
roll?
and I will. I'm not gonna turn into an animal or anything. I'm just gonna make my eyes glow red. Bwah.
Warm.
Yeah,
me-
I can buy contact lenses and do the same thing, but that's
Can your contact lenses see in the dark?
You can't do that.
no, I can't do anything. I'm just I'm just a
Useless.
humble vampire. I don't do anything.
he's far from humble, but he's a different kind of vampire again.
I can also sleep in the earth, and I mean, like instantaneously.
You can
Put myself in the
sleep
earth.
in the earth.
And
And I could sleep in the earth if I wanted.
I can do that in an instant.
I
I'll be
wouldn't
down there.
recommend trying to sleep in the earth at this point in time.
It's great. You get to be one with nature, and it's lovely. I can also turn into a bat and a wolf.
Cool. Like now?
Do you want me to turn into? Okay. Like I probably want. If I do it now, I have to be naked to do so. So
I don't.
normally
do that.
I'm quite okay, but I'm just like. Okay, how about I turn into?
Oh,
a bat?
I don't care.
Are you
Okay,
trying to show me up or something?
I start looking
not
at Bella. I'm
hard.
like, yes, please transform. Let's
Okay,
see this again.
I'll transform into a bat with red eyes. Oh yeah.
As Lauren says, bat.
Bat. Wolf. Oh.
That is so
not a cricket
metal.
bat either.
So
Not a-
she'll sink into her clothes, and then like a little bat head will pop out and squeak.
Right.
Wait, that means you can fly?
Oh,
Oh,
I can't talk. I
damn.
can't talk as a bat, so I'm just squeaking.
Okay,
and nodding.
That's bad for a yes.
Chase will pick you up carefully
Me? Oh no,
And-
the bat.
and take you to his room and say, "Now you can change back. I'll go outside."
What?
Okay, did you see that?
were we not in your bedroom?
We're already in your
Oh,
bedroom.
We were. I thought we were outside the bedroom. Okay, all right. Well,
I look through the hole in the wall that's now there.
see, you could turn that into something useful, a peephole or something. I mean,
I just want to say, Chase, there is no way I need a peephole into your room.
when this is why I want to get a
That's
big
right.
This is why I want to get a big warehouse, because I want to live in it. I'm sure by now you want me out of your house and down the road a bit.
Well, you did just cover the wall in blood and put a hole in it, so maybe a little bit, but no, we're fine. We're fine.
I didn't have to do the whole shooting thing. I could have just cut myself. I don't know why I didn't think of that.
Yeah, the little paper cut would have been, the same kind of demonstration, but Yeah.
But have you
It was
ever
very
seen...
impactful, Chase. It was very
See,
impactful.
it impacted, literally. My chest just went boom.
You did good.
Yeah. Anyway.
Lucky
Right.
you didn't use an incendiary round.
Exactly.
No,
I was thinking that.
You should have rolled. You should have rolled, because every 3 rounds, I'm just saying, there should have been 1 out of 3 chance.
Dude, I did roll.
Oh, lucky. So fucking lucky.
Okay.
And
Anyway.
Chase died by killing himself. Brilliant.
Oh, that sounds very Malkavian. I can live with that.
Yeah.
Or die with that. Right. I will at some stage fill him in on all that other stuff. I'm just letting him get used to it at the moment.
Do you have any other questions, Shannon?
Squeak.
So many. But they can wait. I'd like to talk to Jimmy later, maybe tomorrow, just about some things. But no, we're good. Yeah, Chase explained some stuff.
Okay.
So what are you going to do, Shannon?
What am I?
You just sort of, are you sitting down? Are you standing up?
I've stood up now. Shannon looks like he's a bit in shock. Is kind of out of it and isn't going anywhere unless directed at this point.
Right.
Well, I guess we should continue with the business at hand. Just out of curiosity, just so you remember, Shannon, and I look him straight in the eyes again and I say, don't tell anyone. And that's a dominate as well.
All right.
I think I'll revert back now, and put my clothes back on.
3 successes, so you won't tell anyone.
Bangles.
You're good.
Okay.
Tell anyone.
So
Very
yeah.
good. So you put your clothes back on. Okay.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Thank you. Zora and Jimmy come back in, and they're assisting Benson bring out the 3-course meal that you ordered earlier, the feast.
Would you like some wine, Shannon?
Is it the same? That good stuff?
Well, it's a 1920s Bordeaux. I mean, it's a very good wine.
Yes, please.
Just
Yeah.
Chris,
No extras.
you could put more extras in. Like, it's
So the
same night, man. Come on.
Benson pours you a glass of the 1920s Bordeaux, and it's nice, but it doesn't quite meet your expectations presently. It is very good, but still. Was Shannon a wine man to begin with? I mean, does he know about wines? Does he know anything about wines? I'm guessing he's not really a wine.
Not much, no.
Right.
Not quite his. He drinks wine sometimes, but it's not his.
Benson's
thing.
like, well, this particular vintage has a sort of horsey, mousy flavor, or a little on the nose. He's giving you this.
Yes.
Not a batty, wolfy flavor.
Batty wolfy. Yes.
All of a sudden, you feel a little bit like a bat.
Is Jimmy around?
Yes, he is.
Jimmy?
Yes, Chase. What can I do? What can I help?
For the moment, he is aware and he's part of the family. Perhaps you should fill him in on other things.
Chase, you that was quick. I wasn't expecting it to be so.
Yeah, well, I had a good advisor. So.
Oh, and Zora, maybe you could help Jimmy. I'm sure he could use your help there.
She turns around and looks at you, Vincent. And she turns back to you, Bella, and she says, I don't know if people are interfering here.
I think it's wise for him to at least know what it's like in the long term about all of this, you know? So,
very well, says Zora. Then perhaps we should take him aside. If that is well with all.
Yes.
I'll stay with Rita. I need to get you a glass of wine myself. Which I will do myself.
Right.
It might actually be good for Rita to go because she is new herself. You know what I mean? Common situation.
I'll quietly ask her, would you like to go with them? I mean, that's
Sure.
lovely. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. I mean, if I'm going to learn something, why
Yeah.
not? It makes sense, right?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Here, have this wine.
Oh, this is the stuff?
Oh, I guess we're handing out wine. I'll hand Benson and oh, I forgot about my dog. And I whistle in Shadow and I give him some
Thought you were
wine
whistling
as
Goulia.
well.
Okay.
No, Goulia can she's fine.
She's
All right, so does Shannon see Bella like cut herself?
Good
Or
question.
what
How do you
I-
guys apply the blood to the wine? How does this work?
I think I'll go into another room to do that. Yeah, this doesn't
I'm pretty
feel
much
right.
the same. It's a private matter.
Right, I don't see it.
Makes sense.
So basically, we just come walking out with some glasses of wine and we hand them out to our people.
Okay, so a few minutes later, Shannon, you find yourself in a room with Zora, Jimmy, and Rita.
And Shadow.
Shadow the dog.
Is it a gold dog?
Yep.
Yes, it is.
Is it that scene from Blade? Is it 2 or 3 with sorry.
The mouth.
The Pomeranians? Yes, thank you.
Oh no, yeah, no, it's a big Rottweiler.
Okay.
All right.
Looks a little, yeah, he's a little weird looking. He's got glowy eyes and he's been fucked up before. So he was found on the side of the street, hit by a car, but that's neither here nor there. That's
Ah,
messed up looking dog.
Did you hit
Messed up.
the dog?
he saved the dog and destroyed the human.
Accurate.
All right, so you're in this room with Bella and not Bella, Zora, and she's, Jimmy and whoever's there. And she says, so you have just tonight learned the truth.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much. Sorry.
How much what?
How much Chase told me he shot himself,
Truly.
but then he wasn't wounded, but
He
I saw
healed
the
it. He must have
Yeah.
used his blood to heal himself. That is what vampires can do. They can heal themselves with their blood.
Shannon looks around for cameras in this room as well.
What are you looking for?
I mean, it was realistic. I think part of this feels a little bit like a really big prank, but I'm not saying you would prank me. I just
Of course, I do understand. I have been through this process myself. I spent the night I spent throwing up into a bucket. I was not well. I had to learn that there is such a thing as these night-walking, blood-drinking creatures that literally can kill people, and they live above the law and they live outside of our society, but inside our society at the same time is very peculiar and unsettling. Of course, you are disturbed. I understand.
I mean, a lot of us live outside of the law. You threw up after they told, so they did the
Yes.
same with the wine.
Something like that. It was a little while ago now. She takes your hand. She says, you're going to be okay. That's the main thing. You need to remember you're going to be okay. Nothing bad is going to happen to you. We will look after you. You are with us now. You're part of our family.
Yeah, thanks.
I know that maybe you don't feel that you need that, but trust me that you do, because you're now in a world where there is very few people who understand what you are, who you are, and what you know. And that makes you outside of every circle that you have known in your whole life. Your real family, they don't understand. They will never understand.
I'm not going to tell them.
Of course.
A retainer.
That's right. You are a retainer, but that Look, we are ghouls. That is the correct word for us. What we are is ghouls. We have been made ghouls by vampires.
Ghouls,
We
not
are
like
very,
the ghost zombie thing.
of course,
no.
it's not the same. It's just a word. Don't be concerned. It's just a word. It means that you are a vampire's servant, if you like. They can make us this way.
Oh, okay.
I know it sounds bad, but it's actually, listen, it's really good because the vampires, they cannot go out in the daytime. You and me and Jimmy, we can do these things. We can go out at daytime, nighttime. We only need to sleep for like 4 hours. Imagine
Cool.
that. You can only sleep for 4 hours now. You can stay awake all this time. Imagine the amount of work that you can get done in that time. If I need to do the inventory for the store, I can do it twice over in the time that I have.
That is very cool.
Right. Now you're stronger too. You can lift boxes you never thought you could before. She looks around the room. Is there like a statue in this room, Vincent, that they're in? Do you have statues throughout the house?
Sure, there's a
Let's
statue
go.
on it. Go for
Let's
it.
go,
Very
Zora.
heavy-looking statue.
Zora says, "Why don't you try it? You see this?
Don't break it because you'll make me pay for it.
Yeah.
You're not there.
Obviously, you want to be careful about it. Come and try and pick this up. I think that you can. Just try it. Just get a firm grip. You don't want to drop it, but you get it in a way that you can lift it.
I lift with my knees.
All right, you lift with your knees, and up it comes. Like, it's remarkably easier than you thought it was going to be.
And this is stone? Metal?
Yeah, sure. I think so. I don't know. I don't know what it's made of, but it looked heavy. I thought it would be a good thing to choose. What else can we think that's heavy? Maybe we go outside, try with a car.
I could lift you. I know you're...
Yeah, but I'm just
real.
light anyway. Jimmy's like, you could. Why don't we try like a car or a battery or a car battery or something like that?
I can lift a car battery. Can you lift a car?
Let's go and have a look. And
Okay.
they take you outside to the cars. And Jimmy lines you up in front of one of the cars. He says, "Here you go. Let's give it a go."
Squat down, put my hands under the bonnet and
All right.
try and lift it.
So at this point, you've only got 2 strength and a dot of potence. You definitely do more about lifting the car than you would have ever thought you could have, but you can't lift the car. It's still too heavy. It's still too heavy. But
I can't lift that.
Jimmy walks around
lift the
next to
car?
you. Jimmy comes and helps you, and with his assistance, you guys between you lift the car clear off the ground, the front end. How about that? What do you think about that? A couple of nerds lifting a car, huh?
Okay, let's put it down.
Put it back down.
Jimmy, so we've met a few times and
Yeah.
You've been great to me. Chase said you were in Nam?
Oh yeah, I was in Vietnam. I was there. I saw some things in Vietnam. I saw some.
How old?
Well, you see, when you drink the vampire's blood, I don't know if they told you this, but you stop aging. So as long as you get your fix, like once every 4 weeks, has to be less than 4 weeks, otherwise it doesn't work. And if you miss a drop, then you're going to catch up. You'll catch up real fast. So you don't want to be missing any drops between like months or anything, because then suddenly your age is going to catch up with you, and that's kind of irreversible. And I've seen that. It's not good.
Oh, okay.
You can die from that if you're not careful and you're old. Then you can die from that. I've seen that.
Are you wait, how old are you?
Oh, I'm about 50 something now, I think.
Damn, you look great for 50.
Well, it's not really a fair comparison because I've been suspended like this for 20, 30 years now.
You've been Chase's servant for 20 years?
I really don't like the name servant. He's my friend. The truth is that the Chase has certain needs that he needs to fulfill, and they mostly they happen in the daytime, and those things have to happen, and somebody's got to do them, and I'm his friend.
The banks aren't open.
Yeah, the banks is that did it? Yeah, right. That's exactly right. And there's other things too, like taxes and other things. I mean, we don't even have to deal with all of them, but there's things that you need to have done in the daytime. And if you're a vampire, well, you got to have somebody that does those things. And I'm his friend. I'm his friend. I like to do those things for him. He helps me all the time. You've no idea. I mean, he does so much for us. He's so beneficial, and if there's something that you need, I mean, he will just do it for you. You get it done. He makes things happen, And you want a lab? Well, you're gonna get a lab. You're fucking gonna get a lab. There's not gonna be any bullshit. This is what's gonna happen now. All you got to do is like basically go with the flow, and if he needs something, then you need to do it during the day. Well, oh, fucking big deal. I had to go to the bank once a week. And I don't even have to sleep most of the time. 4 hours a night. That's not a lot of sleep, really for a person that's as busy as I am, and as busy as you're going to be. So, it's a pretty good deal.
Yeah, Chase seems real cool.
I don't know about the others. I mean, I think that Belladonna she seems nice, and her. He looks over his shoulder at Zora, who's standing over there. Zora's really nice too, and she'll look out for you. She told you, she said some nice things to you before. Yeah.
There's more of them.
Of them?
That you said the others. Did you just mean Bella and Vincent, or them?
Oh, there's a lot of other vampires in Chicago. Chicago's full of vampires. Full of vampires. It's very full of vampires, but. Compared to other places that I've been, and at least, I mean, I don't know, Los Angeles, they had a lot of vampires too, but they were quite kind of different because they would fight each other. And
they don't fight here.
Well, not as much. I don't think so. I haven't seen so much of that sort of thing here since we've been here, but we haven't been here for that long. But we were in New York for a while before that, and that was a very it was a bad place. Yeah, New York is a bad place. You don't want to go to New York. It's not very good.
Hadn't planned on it.
There's a lot of fighting in New York, and if you were a vampire, well, I don't know, things could get bad for you over there.
So I must assume Chase doesn't do this with everyone he makes a business deal with.
No. I recommended you. I personally recommended you to him because I personally thought that you had the skill sets that we were kind of looking for. Because look back, if I can be honest with you, back in the old days, back in Vietnam, we were running the kind of product that you're making all up and down East Asia, from like Australia to Taiwan, and then we had shipments going to America, South America, Europe, Japan, all over the place. So there was only a couple of places we didn't get into, and we were all over the place. And I was just thinking that it kind of reminded me of this chemist that we used to have back in those days. And I thought we could kind of put the whole business back together because it's something that we know how to do. And everybody's talking about how we ain't got no money and stuff, and we need some kind of source of income. And so it seems like it's a good idea. Oh, that's Vincent's house. Yeah, Vincent used to work for the CIA.
Oh.
He also I think it was the CIA. It might have been one of those other alphabet soup agencies that you hear about, but I don't know who it is. But he's had some sort of intelligence background,
Cool. All right, and I'm the chemist. I'm your guy. I'm gonna make y'all some money.
Yeah. You probably should learn a couple of things though. To be honest with you, like there's I think that you should probably learn to protect yourself. Like, I know you're kind of like a pacifist kind of a guy and everything, and I respect that. I respect that. I mean, I was like an engineer in Vietnam. I didn't want to shoot nobody. The fucking shit happened, but I had to. But that's not the point. And it actually kind of is the point. Actually, that is the point. Is that sometimes when you're doing something that's really worth doing, is sometimes like people they try to fucking break in on that, and they get in the way of it, and sometimes they come for you, and you can't help that. You've got something that they want, and so they're going to stop you. They're going to try and find a way to stop you, and so sometimes things get violent, and you just have to fucking kill them. That's what happens sometimes.
We're gonna be underground. Like, I've been selling street corners and clubs for
that's very years now. That's very dangerous. You know that. You should be very careful.
Yeah, well, when there's trouble, I'm out.
Right, we're going to be at a whole other level, and you won't need to worry about the kind of street thugs that we're talking about there. But that could be a whole different level of shit happen. Like, I mean, maybe I don't know. We could get raided by like the fucking cops, and then we could get raided by vampires. Who knows? We don't want any of that shit to happen. Of course, we're going to go to every extreme possible to make sure that doesn't happen. But you never know, and you should always be prepared for everything. You know, what was it that there's that actor, that famous actor. He's a new guy. What is his name? Mr. Smith, Will Smith. I think he said, you know, if I'm already ready, then I don't got to get ready.
I'm not going to shoot no cock, and it looks like if we got raided by other vampires, that ain't gonna do anything anyway.
Oh, well, you see, the thing with guns and vampires is that guns actually can kill vampires. It's just really hard to kill a vampire. You can kill them, but it's hard. And certain guns have like certain advantages. Like you put in, have you ever heard of like a tracer round or incendiary rounds? Certain kinds of bullets that have explosives inside them, they catch on fire when they've been fired, and when they hit a vampire. We'll see vampires are very susceptible to fire, so you really want to think about that when you're considering things regarding Chase and the others, because fire is really bad.
Burned.
Don't let them get burned. They don't like fire, and also if they get flame anywhere near them, they can really freak out too. Be careful about that. They're like fucking neurotic about that shit. They get crazy.
Okay.
They get crazy.
Hey, Jimmy. I did have one pretty specific question.
Oh yeah. Yeah. What can I help?
When I drank the wine,
yeah,
it was delicious and great. I loved it. I saw some things. I thought it was some
like hallucinations.
Leftover. Yeah. What is that?
That's just a little touch of madness that will go away.
It will go. Do you? Yeah. Does that happen to you?
Yeah. I get that. I get that a lot. But you know, it's a small price to pay for the kind of outcome that you're looking at. Really, I mean, you're going to make billions of fucking dollars, and you're going to be so rich, and you're going to have everything that you want.
And but you can just ignore. You just ignore it. It's it's not really a problem right now. Okay, cool. Yeah, I was just if it was all the time. Mm-hmm.
Can you make a perception and empathy check, please?
Perception and empathy. I lost empathy. Perception, empathy. Pull mod 0.
Yep.
Difficulty 6.
Yeah.
I did it. I got none.
Got none.
None.
Never mind then.
That's what it says. I got a 9 though, but it says 0 successes.
Because of the 1. The 1 cancels the success.
Oh, bummer. Okay.
Right. But yeah, sorry about that. Okay, so here's a new rule to throw at you. If you have more dice than the difficulty rating, then you get a success automatically. In this case, you didn't, because you only had 1, 2, 3, 4 dice. But for future reference, if you have 6 dice or more, you might want to check just to see that whether or not you get an automatic success. Okay. Yeah, I Yeah, the madness is well, it's maddening. It happens, but there's not a lot you can truly do about it. I tried some meds. You can kind of balance it out. Maybe that's something that you and I can work on as a side project.
Yeah, sounds like a pretty small price to pay for.
It's a small price to pay. Small price to pay. Yeah, I think it's a small price to pay. Wouldn't you say, Zora? Zora, and she comes over. Yes, Jimmy. What is it? Don't you think that it's just a small price to pay for like what we got? Oh yes, it is very much a small price to pay. What you have now is, it's like having the kingdom laid before you, and now you are entering the place of the gods.
Do you see the things too?
Of course, I see them. I see many things. I have access to the astral realm as a priestess. I have powers of perception that exceed those of mortals most of the time. Very few mortals. Out of game, she's talking about something completely different, but she doesn't know that, and you don't know that either. So, I can read the tarot cards. If you're looking to see your future, I can give you a reading sometime.
Maybe, yeah, I'll think about it.
That would be free, of course, free of charge. Because you are inside a circle.
Yes, cool. Yes.
I think the others are waiting for us. Perhaps we should go back.
Yep.
Okay, so you guys go back inside, back to the group. What have you guys been doing?
I've been discussing, I want a warehouse that I can actually live in.
Okay.
With Jimmy and everything.
Jimmy's been outside talking to this guy.
I've been talking to Vince about it.
Vincent, okay.
That's what I've been doing in my time.
Do the thing.
Vince, I want to go over to Gary and look for warehouses. Maybe something I can live in as well.
Yeah, I've been thinking about doing some real estate work there. It was definitely on the plans anyway.
Okay. And maybe we can see if one warehouse has got an underground section.
That could be a potential. I think we should follow the rules and see the prince first, Prince Modius. Now that we've got the contact details.
I do. I think we should do that. Belle.
Yeah.
Belladonna,
I'm right here.
next time you got an advice to give, please give it.
I always do.
It was good. Good girl. It was really good. Thank you.
It's better you be honest.
Yeah, well.
Especially with him. You can tell he'd appreciate it.
You know, with Jimmy, I didn't get a choice. It was bullets and all sorts of things going on. Yeah. So I'm not A1 at it, you know?
You didn't choose to be the way you are, Chase?
Me? I did. Well, she didn't really give me a choice. It was
And
like,
Bella,
hi
is it
there.
the same for you? Did you not choose to be the way you are?
No, but I'm happy that I am.
Interesting. Okay.
I mean, I'm gangrel. Everyone loves us
It's because you're furry.
because we're furry.
Yeah. And she's deadly.
Right. Okay, so you guys come in.
Okay.
Hi guys, did you have fun?
Sure.
I couldn't lift the car.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. He's not developed enough yet. Not yet, Chase. Not yet. He will be. He will be.
You did the car test, did you? Yeah.
Yeah, we did the car test, but the good thing is that he's still a ghoul, and so he still has the ability, unlike you. And he turns around to Vincent. Unlike you, to build up some muscle on his body, on his bones, protein. protein, and that will fix him right up. He'll be able to lift that car before the end of the year. I tell you.
If you ever want to arm wrestle, I'm down for it.
Don't accept that. That's a trick. That's a trick. Don't accept that. He's gonna pump blood into his body, and he's gonna make himself stronger. You don't accept that. It's a trick.
Noted.
Good on you, Jimmy. You take care of him. Right. Now we've got that sorted. Shall we go warehouse shopping? Or shall we go and see? We'll go and see the prince. Shall we? Do you want to come, Bill?
Of course.
Somebody's beeping.
I thought it was you.
Is it
No,
me?
I'm not beeping.
Fuck,
Like, it was going off.
That'll be you.
Yeah, we'll go and see the prince.
The
Okay.
Prince of England.
Right. So
No, not the Prince of England. Each city has what they call a vampire prince.
yeah.
Like Chicago has a prince. Gary has a prince.
You're talking about the Gary Prince, right?
Yeah, we're
Mobius.
talking about the Gary prince.
Right. From what we've been told, he's a little bit crazy.
Yeah, he's a
So-
little bit unusual.
Mobius.
Modius. With a D.
Modius.
Yeah.
Modius.
Yeah.
You'll if you join us, then you'll get to meet him. We also haven't met him, so
We're gonna bring Shannon with us. Is that yeah?
Is that safe?
Oh,
dealing with vampires is never safe.
except for us, of course.
And he's
No.
gonna give us a warehouse.
No.
I go to him and ask him if I can start a business in his realm.
Think of it
Wait,
like
so there's like little
territories.
vampire monarchies?
Think of
Yes.
it like territories, and different vampires control these territories. It's-
They're kind of like dogs. They kind of like to piss on walls. Basically, that's like territories, dogs.
Not
Right.
offended.
I shouldn't say that in front of them.
You probably
No.
shouldn't have. I probably shouldn't have said that. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
It's accurate.
I'm sorry, Chase.
It
I
was-
didn't mean if I embarrassed you.
Jimmy, don't worry. It was incredibly accurate.
As long as you pick like the right vampires,
Yeah.
we understand.
Yeah,
Don't worry, Jimmy.
Vampires are not entirely unreasonable. I mean, they look at these guys. These they're like our friends, you know. But then you get these other vampires who will just kill you as quickly as look at you, and they'll treat you like shit. So it all comes down to social circles.
Maybe
It's a roll of the dice.
maybe we should go into the fact that
It's very meta.
we are your friends, yes, but sometimes we might not be by accident. Like all of us, we rely on blood, and if you were to say be wounded in front of us and we're really hungry, you need to get the fuck out of there, okay?
Okay. Are you gonna
get the hell
We're
out
your
of
friends,
Dodge?
but we're
eat
also
me?
dangerous. We're
They-
like a
they-
powder
they-
keg.
Yeah, like dogs, they have the beast inside them. You know that they'll go for you if you're bleeding and they're thirsty and they're hungry. They get taken over. They can't help it. It's not their fault. You know,
I'm
it's
actually-
not their fault.
I'm
Or you
actually
could
pretty
bleed into a
good,
wine glass. That would save a lot of time for me. That'd be brilliant.
I'm actually pretty good at keeping myself calm. All thanks to like Zora and her meditation techniques.
Thank you. It's very appreciated that you would mention my name.
Well, I just look
Okay.
at her lovingly.
If so there's
I look
these
at Jimmy
other,
and wink.
there's these
Jimmy
other
looks away.
vampires that would kill me. But if I'm just walking around, do they know that
That you-
I'm different?
But you're a ghoul.
Yeah.
Oh, you got to be careful about that. You do have to be careful about that. Some of them can know. Chase can know. Chase can tell. Can't you, Chase? You tell me all the time. You're like, that guy's a ghoul. That guy's a ghoul. That guy outside that nightclub, he's a
Don't
ghoul.
tell him that, Jimmy. Don't tell him that.
Yeah.
Basically, some people can, some people can't. It's
Can I tell if someone's a vampire so I can avoid them?
Can you tell if we're vampires?
But feel
No.
our skin, okay? Like feel our skin. Cold, right?
Yeah, I just thought y'all had bad circulation.
Oh, they do. They do have real bad circulation.
Really bad.
Yeah.
Doesn't even
Incredibly bad.
move.
But yeah,
So unless I
you'll pick
touch people,
you'll pick up techniques.
You know how when you're standing really close to somebody and you can feel the heat coming off them?
yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like that, but
not that.
But it's not that exactly.
If it's a cold night, you won't see hot air coming from our mouths.
They don't have to breathe. The only time that these guys breathe is when they're like talking. They have to breathe to talk, but that's all. And if it's cold, yeah, like Chicago in the winter, then they should be breathing fucking steam the whole time, but they're not. You gotta ask questions. Is that a vampire?
Yeah. Some vampires are quite like traditional as well, like the old school vampire films and whatnot. Like they won't cross the threshold without permission. Some are like that.
I never met anybody like that.
Those are the crazy ones, right?
I've met one, and I'm not gonna say who that is. So.
Okay. Well,
but mainly because it's like if it's a tell, then it's probably not a good idea to tell another person about them.
What the one thing I don't think we've talked about with Shannon yet is the whole wooden stake business.
Oh yeah, it's never. Oh my god, it's taking me back to the other night when she like got her fortitude.
Right.
Oh no.
Okay.
Don't want to talk about that.
In the movies they stake us and we die.
Yeah.
We don't. We get paralyzed, literally.
Oh, we're going through movie rules now, are we? Crosses, kind of fond of them. Holy water tastes funny. Anything else?
Why are you drinking holy water?
You got to try these things, right?
You gotta experiment. I felt a little bit holier after as well.
Holier or hornier, did you say?
Wow, that's for another time.
Okay. So
That's for the PMs.
Those things, a stake paralyzes us. All right.
That's if you can manage to actually stake a vampire. That's half the battle.
No intention of doing so.
Not yet, anyway.
You may have no intention at the moment, but someday you may have intention.
It might be Chase.
Yep. Someday someone might just put a hole in your wall and you think to yourself, you know what? I'm going to stake that bastard later.
Why would I stake Chase? I don't want to stake Chase.
Well, he might actually ask you to do that under certain circumstances. He's asked me to do that. I've never actually had to do it, but he's told me. He's told me if I need to that I have to.
Yeah, he might need you to.
You are my friends, so I don't want to hurt you. So when I tell you to do it to me. It's got to be right in the heart.
Okay.
And you're sciencey, you know where the heart is.
Yes, I did do pre-med. Should I carry a stake?
Yeah.
On me?
Yeah. Steak, it's not a
steak
idea.
like the wooden steak, not like the food.
Medium rare.
Yeah.
I've got 3.
You've got 3, Jimmy?
Okay, why do you have 3, Jimmy?
Is that for us?
Well, no. Well, it could be. It could be. Yes, it could be for that. But no, the truth is that I've tried staking vampires before, and they fucking break. Stakes break, and when you break off the end of a stake and it's no good to you, you need another stake. It's just that simple.
Jimmy
I'll
has
make
steaks
better
on.
steaks.
Honestly, if it comes to like a vampire fight, I would get the fuck out of there if I were you. You were squishy as hell.
I'm good at that. Good at leaving.
Do the fuck out of there first. That is the first rule of But if it's desperate and I catch you, then let me have it.
I'll tell you another thing that works on vampires, if you guys don't mind. Is that okay?
Is it? What is it?
Well, like tasers, cattle prods, things like that. They will give a vampire pause for thought. Pause for thought.
Jimmy,
We're
can
gonna have to have a
one
discussion
of those?
sometime, Jimmy.
Oh yeah, I've seen some things. I saw some things in Vietnam.
Jimmy, can I have one of those? You have 3.
Oh yeah. Well, I don't know why I didn't think of that. Sure, you can have 2.
I don't need. Okay, thanks.
Sora, do you have any? Like,
Zora, she says, out of game. What do you think? Does Zora have a stake in her purse? I don't think so.
Hold on, we're arming all of our ghouls now? What the hell?
I would say she would probably have one for other vampires.
She has a small stylized stake that's looks like it's functional, but it's more style than function.
I glare over at Julia and say, don't even think about it.
Like, I would want Zora to have one if she didn't.
All right. And as for arming your ghouls, aren't you guys supposed to be the anti-Sabat unit? Your ghouls
That's
should
the
be
other thing I've been trying to tell them
We're
about.
ASS, not ASU.
ASS?
Syndicate.
Yes.
Yeah.
The anti-Sabat strike squad.
Squad, that works, yeah.
The prince
Why?
of the prince
We
of,
hate ourselves? Is that...
Well, you didn't come up with a better
Val-
name, so we stuck with us until further notice. We are us, but
Val, tell him about the unit we are made up of.
What?
Our team. Tell
Yes,
him
but what
about
do you-
our team. Sabat hunting, that kind of crap.
We hunt Sabat.
No, we aren't Sabat. They're bad guys.
he
Yeah,
doesn't even know
I
what
said we
Sabat are
hunt.
at this
We
point,
hunt
like.
Sabat.
Sabat.
Good
Yeah.
point. Good point.
They're our enemies. They're like us, just different. They think differently.
Think Chase
Is
Little
this like
crazy but religious.
Vampire gang. Vampire Catholic
Oh, boy.
vampire gang.
I don't think we should get into this right now, Chase. You've already
If somebody's
experienced
shooting
a
at
lot
us,
right
I'd
now.
like him to know
so-
why they're shooting at us.
Well, maybe what you need to know, Shannon, is that there's a bunch of people and they call themselves they're the Sabat, and if you hear that word, that we're talking about those guys. They're the bad guys. Okay.
You need to get the fuck out of there more than a frenzying vampire.
They're
Basically,
the
we
ones
need
that
to
are
get the fuck
gonna.
out there.
They're the ones that are gonna just eat you right away. They're gonna look at you and kill you if they know you're a ghoul and they think you're like the enemy. They'll just kill you.
They might even like make you into a weird abomination,
Yeah, we don't need to go down
like
that.
7 heads.
Or we weren't going down that road, Bella.
Sorry, it was traumatizing. Okay.
But
They
this
believe in certain
prince-
things that we don't.
This prince is not that. This is a different.
No, he's not.
The
He's just
Sabat.
another form of crazy. That's-
I'm not.
He's what they
Part
call
of the
Camarilla, Camarilla. Depends who you ask. The Camarilla are like they kind of believe everybody is Camarilla unless you're not. They're kind of like America.
Okay, fast story, fast explanation. Sabat, bad guys. Camarilla, good guys. Anarchs in the middle. Camarilla is a group of different clans. We're all members of those clans. They're the good guys. The Sabat are like, they're basically, just think really crazy religious people. They have their own weird, strange beliefs that we don't believe in, and they use that to justify killing and slaughtering people. That would be the best 5-second explanation of the Sabat. They're the bad guys, and Anarchs are sort of the middle ground. They see themselves as onto their own at this point, and you'll probably meet some of them.
Okay.
Good, 2-second. Yep, everyone.
Yep, a lot. Yes, I think I am information overload at this point. I'm happy to come with you to the prince. Are you going now?
Yeah, let's go meet a crazy vampire prince. I think you'll do very well there.
Should I stay in the
What?
car? We can talk about it on the way.
All right. So
Do I
without
take the hippie
further-
van or the or hippie van or limo?
Up to
Hippie
you
van
guys.
or limo?
I mean, I can't fit everyone here, probably.
What kind of vehicle does Shannon have of his own? He's got a bike, is that right?
I have one of those little
Scooters.
not quite as like a downgrade from a scooter.
like
Like
an
you take a
e-bike.
bicycle.
Oh yeah.
Well, before you take a bicycle and then you put a little petrol motor on it, and it's a janky hookup to the back wheel, and you got to pull the.
Right.
It's a piece of crap. I left it at the uni, I think. Right, I wouldn't have driven it here.
Right. No, that makes sense.
I have one.
You've got one. That's what I wanted to know.
I don't think it would get me to Gary from here. I think I'd run out of fuel
That's
much
true.
earlier.
No, that's fine. I was just checking what you actually had, just for my own sake. Okay, cool. So you're going in the limo or the hippie van?
How
I
let's
think
go
we're
me.
going in the limo. do we?
There, guys.
We're
Okay,
going.
guys
so
can
you're
go
going
in
in
the
the
limo.
limo. All right. So you're
I've
sitting in
got
the
my
back of the
ghouls.
limo. You're facing each other in the back of the limo. The ghouls have got access to glasses of water and Coca-Cola or whatever the fuck they want to drink.
Does Jimmy want to join us? Yeah, because Zora.
Well, Zora's here.
Yeah,
Zora
but
and Jimmy are in the limo with you.
oh,
Are they not?
well, I was going to take the hippie van, but if
You're
we're-
taking. Oh, I thought you were all in the limo. That's.
That's fine. We can go in the limo. I don't mind.
You should go in the limo, and the
Actually-
ghouls should go in the hippie van.
Actually, as we're walking
Oh.
out, hey Bella, how about we get Jimmy and Zora to follow us in the hippie van, just in case we need the extra leg space.
Okay.
There you go. They're both alone in the hippie van,
Right.
and I quickly
With
switch
Rita.
out. I switch
Alone
out the
with Rita.
cassette. No Rita, and I quickly switch out the cassette for Righteous Brothers, the greatest hits.
Feel free to pick up the little kitten on the way there. Okay. You know,
Right.
guys.
It's
Anyway.
not gonna happen.
Oh.
That's too far out of their way.
We can't just dominate that.
Too far to go. Too far to go. You add another half an hour to an hour to your journey.
Okay, let's not do that.
Okay, so you head to Gary, and you
Remember
have.
Gary?
How do you get the address of?
We got it from
We
We
Juggler.
got it from Juggler last
Juggler gave it to us.
yesterday.
Juggy.
Excellent. All right, so you head to this part of Gary. It's sort of northeast, and you go out through all of the very downtrodden, shitty areas of the city, out where there's lots of tumble down fences and stuff. In fact, hold on, I'm going to pull up my notes, seeing as
He's going to be in the cathedral, isn't he? I bet money he's in that cathedral.
he's not actually.
Oh,
I
is
know.
it?
I know where he is. I've been there before.
He has a mansion. Well, you've been there, but your character hasn't been there.
Yeah, it's true. I miss
Um,
Mercy. I miss her so much.
Aw.
She has to stay away for 6 months.
Why is that, Charlie?
Because someone wanted to be diablerized.
Someone
and I
wanted to be
obliged.
diabolized, and you obliged.
Yeah.
Right.
He was very
Okay.
welcome.
Right. So yes, old tattered billboards run down beyond hope and despair. Steel mills,
See
factories,
what I mean, Vince?
chain link fences.
Was that one of
Money
my
just-
billboards? Is there like a
Ma-
picture of me all tattered and run down?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Money just
Deteriorating streets.
waiting to be made.
Right. Past the empty warehouses and the graffiti and the gangs standing around selling drugs to poor people. And then next to that, the sort of in the center of Gary, the opulence and the decadence right next to the unemployment and the abandoned stores. Anyway, you go out past that point out to the projects until you get to an area where there's all these old aging and decaying mansions that are on these large plots next to each other. A couple of them have been burned down. Most of them are abandoned entirely. And you head up this one street. The grass is just all overgrown on the verge. Nobody's cut the grass or done any gardening in this area for quite a while. And you see this one mansion. You turn right off the road up this hill, and there's this one mansion sitting up there where you can see some lights are on. And it doesn't look like electric lighting either, to be fair. And you get closer and you can see it's very dilapidated. The
Vince.
door is hanging off its hinges.
Vince, you do the talking. You're the businessman.
I mean, it looks like he needs remodeling more than talking at this point in time. This is horrible.
Yeah, I know, but you do the talking for my side of things.
I think all of you should probably talk.
No, I'm not good at that. All I want to do is fly a helicopter back and forth. That's all I want to do.
Well, then say that.
Shannon, try not to stick your neck out too much if you can. I'm just trying to make him paranoid.
Hold your neck back.
Should I even come in?
Oh, absolutely.
Vince, leave him alone.
We might need a snack at some point.
Ignore him.
Shannon,
leave him
Shannon
alone.
sidles up next to Chase.
Right.
Don't worry, he's
If you
just
need me
pulling
to-
your chain.
If you need me to rip out his heart, I still have the claws out.
You assume I have one.
I'll find it.
All right.
So we head on in.
Head on in.
We should probably have
Get to the door. What do you do when you get to the door? You just go straight through, or
Oh, no, would knock, of course.
no? You hear a voice call out, "I'm coming! I'm coming!" And you're left alone for another minute.
And I'm thinking, well, good for her. Or him.
I'm like, wow, what kind of thing is going on here?
Oh, that's just dirty, honestly. Wow.
A whole minute though.
A whole minute. Better than 30 seconds. Could have been worse.
Wait, you need more than 5 seconds? What's going on here?
Just everybody stop. Okay. This lady comes around the corner eventually. Short blonde hair, and she's quite slim. Looks like she's in her late 20s. She's got a glass in one hand with something red in it. And she looks up at you and she says, "Are you here to see the prince?"
Yes, we'd like an audience with the prince, if we may.
Can I tell him who you are and who's asking?
It's one and the same, but my name is Vincent Jews, and this is Chase, and this is Bells.
Hi.
Vincent Jews. That seems familiar. Have I seen you around before?
And Shannon.
I haven't been here before, that's for sure.
Don't forget. So rude.
She says, "You can come in." She looks at Barry. Chase, "You can come in." She looks at Charlie. "You can come in." She says, "But the ghoul has to stay outside."
What's that?
Are you questioning the prince?
No, I'm questioning you. Out of curiosity.
Well, I'm not sure it's any of our business. It's the prince's own edict.
Shannon
just
starts walking back towards the car during this conversation. He's out.
Make sure to wind up the window.
Actually, ma'am, the ghoul is my partner. He's my ghoul. He's got something to do with the business I'm doing with the prince. I'd like him to come with me so he can see what he has to adhere to.
Would you like to make a persuasion check, please?
Come on, Chase. You've got this.
Is there backing up people in this? Like, can I back up Chase? Or
Try and do your favor, Russ, and not split the party.
I know.
What bloody ghouls to take.
Try to help you out.
Bloody,
Throwing a bone.
he's part of the business. You don't throw part.
and he's a light snack. I mean, it's a win-win.
Vince, shut up. Not when we get there. You can do it, but at the moment.
Oh, I can? Excellent.
No, you can do the business. You're the man.
So no snacks.
No thanks. Not with our partner. No, not with our partner.
Here it is.
And our new friend.
Do you want to spend a willpower point?
Yes, please.
Can't hear you, Russ.
She looks at you. She says, "Oh, very well then. Fine. Bring your ghoul."
Hey, come back.
Do we know
Come
what
back.
clan she belongs to?
Do you know? I don't know.
You're
Do
a
you?
partner in the
I don't
business.
know if I know. I
A
know,
return.
yeah. But I don't know if
You don't
I
know
know.
that you know,
Yeah.
but you know that you know.
Then the answer is
Have
no.
we been told?
I don't recall anyone telling you, so I'm not going to say no.
Okay.
What is your name, man?
My name is Alicia.
Oh, pleasure to meet you. I am Vincent. As
Do come in. She ushers you into this large round sitting room, and it's kind of built outside the house. And there's like a set of seats around the outside of this octagonal part of this room that's built onto the side of the house. And one wall is bookshelves with nothing but political rhetoric from floor to ceiling. The first book that stands out is Mao's Little Red Book.
I can't believe he still has books available after printing a lot of them.
You don't know about that.
Oh, he's just replenished this.
You don't know about that.
No, I'm just reminding you.
Reminding me.
Yeah, just in case.
Oh, just in case. You have so little trust. Okay. Very good. So after a few minutes, you're sitting in this room. What are you guys doing? You're just going to chat amongst yourselves, or are you sitting quietly?
So,
is there artwork around this room or any kind of?
Yeah, there's a couple of paintings actually. One of them's on an easel.
I'm admiring the one on the easel.
All right. It's a painting of the cathedral.
Nice.
There you go. Anything else? Shannon, are you doing anything while you're in this room presently?
I'm sitting very still and behaving myself.
Okay. All right. Very good. Eventually, Alicia comes back and she says, Lord Modius will see you now. Come. She turns on her heel with so great pomp and ceremony. And you begin to walk through the house. And as you go through the house, you begin to get you begin to understand the nature of the decay that has occurred here. The house is in complete disarray. Furniture is tipped over, books are on the floor, tables and chairs are upside down. Things have been smashed. There's mold coming through the ceiling. There's cracks in the walls. Glass is missing from windows. Anything that could be busted is busted. There's no electricity, and Alicia, incidentally, is carrying a lamp.
What era is most of the furniture in the building, and what sort of architecture would it
It's
be?
a similar age and architecture to your house, actually, but probably a bit older than that. Yeah, it's early settler.
Oh, okay. All right.
No. So you get through to this library where, again, the books are in piles around the room. And there's the smell of charcoal in the room, too. You can see some books sitting around the fire that looks like they've been burned in the fire, by the fire, partly burned, used for fire paper. And there is this fellow with a beard and a moustache, and he looks a bit like Amadeus, if you can think of what Amadeus looked like. If you've ever seen a painting of him or a movie or what have you, his hair is kind of short and cropped here, very serious and strong bone structure, but sunken eyes. And he's sitting there in a black jacket with a frilly vest on under it, with a cravat. And he looks up as you come in. Greetings, and whom do I have the pleasure of entertaining this night?
I activate my ore at this point.
Okay.
I guess I should roll that right. It's probably going to be too strong for it. Hold on. Sorry, might be long. All right, getting that charisma performance.
Charisma performance.
And 7 difficulty. 3 successes.
3 successes. All right. you're pretty sure your ore just bounced off him, but you've ored these guys.
I'm always
Wow,
ordering those
Vincent.
guys.
Like, it's weird, but strangely attracted to you today.
Okay.
My lord, it is a pleasure to meet you. My name is Vincent Jews, and these are
Yeah, he is.
my compatriots, Chase, Bells, and Shannon.
I'm
Belladonna. Sorry.
And I am to understand that this ghoul here is part of your coterie.
Yes.
I see. And you do not intend to be breaking the masquerade, therefore I assume this ghoul is entirely sound.
That is
Yes.
correct, my lord. We have intentions for him to perhaps become a member of the coterie at some time. So we're bringing him up to speed with the movers and shakers of this world, such as yourself.
The people he should respect.
Slow down, everyone, before you get too far. Do you have the intention to make residence in my city?
Yes, indeed.
I see.
We wish
So
to
you are
stay-
announcing yourselves and your presence then in the city of Gary, is that correct?
That is correct, my lord. If you would
Yes,
kindly
High Prince.
allow us, an audience, of course.
Well, you're here. This is an audience, is it not?
No, correct.
I see. Well, I suppose then you are on probation. As long as you do not cause me any trouble in Gary and you do not affiliate yourself with that rascal, the one they call the juggler.
Oh, not at all. We wouldn't want to, usurp any sort of authority from you. And might I say, this mansion is amazing. I love the architecture. It is magnificent in its architecture.
Why, thank you. I do appreciate that. It is he gives you a spiel about it. He tells you, he spends 5 minutes giving you the details of the house, when it was built, who built it. The great Lord Bloody Blah from Norfolk came here in 1760 blah. And
given my background, would I know some of this?
You can make a academics and intelligence check, please.
Ooh, okay.
I would probably be, well, my mind's probably elsewhere. It got boring real quick.
Yep.
Yeah.
Notice how I didn't actually make the speech.
Yeah.
Well, there's no such thing as academics.
If I could have, I would have, but I couldn't, so I wasn't gonna.
2 successes.
2 successes. You know some of what he's talking about. You don't know the exact person, but it sounds familiar. You've got, yeah. I mean, certainly some of the architectural elements you're familiar with. You know, yeah.
Well, okay, I make my assuming it's a Baroque period building by any chance. I'd know if it was, because I
Could
can
be.
make my if it ain't Baroque, don't fix it line. That's always a good one.
I don't know that it is Baroque. I think Baroque is an Italian style from like the 18th century or
17th.
It's 17th century Baroque.
Yeah, the wrong characters in this one for me to answer that question.
U.S. mansion. Oh, fuck it. I can't be bothered. Who cares?
I make a quip and we laugh about it.
That sounds excellent. And you can make a performance check.
Oh, performance and just by itself?
It'll be wits and performance. Unless your charisma and performance is better.
I'm gonna hit
2 successes.
I'm gonna gently nudge Vincent and be like, that was great. That was hilarious.
Right.
Still awed. I'm still awed. Yeah.
All right.
Truly
Very good. Very good. And yes, Modius cracks a smile and he chuckles with you for a moment. Very good then. I think that you seem to be good people. I can see the potential here.
Excellent, my lord. I do appreciate your time. I understand that you must be very busy. I can see these books, as some people may call them, have been a disservice to you, and it's good to see that they've been burnt and discarded with, as they should have been.
looks at you a little strangely at that. Why is burning books a good thing?
Well, I mean, some of the information in it is just completely incorrect. I don't know what people think these days in some of the books that I've read. It's beyond my comprehension.
I see. And before we continue any further, I think it's perhaps worthwhile now to discuss questions of lineage. After all, it is most important to be sure that one's business partners are of strong, independent lines that have authentic connections to our founding fathers. And he goes on with a bunch of patriarchal, nationalistic bullshit for about another 5 minutes.
As I was expecting, yep. Well, Bells, would you like to recollect his lordship on your lineage?
I'm Gangrel.
I see. Clan of the Wolf, to be feared, no less.
I would agree. Definitely. But well, at the same time, we're cute and fluffy as well. We're a bit of everything.
Cute and fluffy. And you. Looks at you, Vincent.
Oh, me, my lord?
Not so cute and fluffy, I can tell.
Unfortunately, no. I am of Ventru. However, I'm not from the American Ventru. I'm from the old world. I don't associate myself with the rebel of this country at this point, yes.
So you do not associate yourself with the Ventru of this country, then I don't suppose you have spent any time in the city of Chicago, have you?
I have spent enough time in the city of Chicago to know that I do not want to spend more time in the city of Chicago, my lord.
Excellent choice. But you are a Ventru, you say?
That is correct, sir.
From the old world. Who might you know in the old world that I might know, do you think?
Perhaps my lord would be knowledgeable of Ivanovich, perhaps?
Ivanovich. I have heard of Lord Ivanovich.
And of course, I am of lineage connection to Angelus himself, Prince of London.
By lineage and blood?
By blood, yes.
At a game, really?
How?
How do you
Yeah, well, he's Ivanovich's sire, right?
No.
Oh, isn't he?
Angelus
Sorry.
is Toreador.
Toreador, okay. No, my bad. So yeah, I know. I'll rewind, change to, I know of Angelus, and I am a member of the group that associates with him.
So have you met Lord Angelus then?
Yes, I have, many times, my lord.
Goodness, well, next time you do return to Chicago, forgive me, to London, is it, you say?
That's correct.
If you do return there, then I should hope that you mention to Master Angelus that my humble self doth request his assistance in some matters.
I am sure that he would be, more than willing to assist you in anything that you require, my liege.
Doesn't seem to have been the case so far.
I'm sure it just got mixed up by pigeons and mailers at this point.
You are aware that there is a thing called the telephone now.
Oh, I'm sorry, my lord. I've just been learning about these newfangled contraptions. I'm not up to speed with them too much.
Don't worry, he pats you on the shoulder. He says, Alicia here, perhaps you can help this poor Vincent come up to speed with us.
Thank you, my lord. You have been more than courteous with us.
And thank you. So, you have presented yourselves. You intend to live in the city. Do you have an address as of yet? Where will we find you if we need you?
My home is at blah, blah, blah in Lincoln Park in Chicago. And we will be...
You are in Chicago? You're staying in Chicago?
Oh, no, it is just simply my physical address as we purchased one here. I wanted to make sure before moving here that I had your permission before setting up roots.
So you presently are living under the regime of the dictator, Lord Loden Olaf Holt.
Unfortunately, he is there. However, my house did predate, or it has predated my arrival here. It has been in my family for over 100 years in Chicago. So it was of no consequence that we ended up there.
Is he tricking? Is he doing that trick?
He leans in and looks at you very carefully.
Why did you mention Chicago? You were doing so well.
I see. So you've been away from the city for some time then?
That is correct, my lord. I've been away for over 100 years.
100 years, why? Oh, well. Very well then. You'll inform me when you have a residence in Gary, and any domains that you wish to obtain or otherwise utilize, we will discuss.
That is more than fair, my lord. I thank you so much for your time in this matter.
And you will, of course, stay away from. And he names the suburb where the Rose Garden is.
I wouldn't want to go anywhere near that area anyway. Thank you.
Very good. It is off limits to vampires that consider themselves to be loyal to their prince.
Thank you for your time, my lord.
Of course. Will that be all then?
Is there anything anyone else needs to ask for? No? Brilliant. We're done, my lord. Thank you so much for your time.
Very good then. I suppose then I shall say good night.
Good night.
Good night.
And you guys retreat.
As soon as I saw the old mansion and saw it was like, not being picked up, I just assumed he was one of the old school people. So I just kind of went with that.
When we get back to the limo, I'm gonna be like, he mentioned telephones, but we were told that he doesn't have one.
Yeah, I remembered what was mentioned.
Now,
jugglers, so I thought I should have suited to.
Look, if we ever need to do a Rose Garden business, I can go because I'm not in your business.
We can do that, or maybe we could use ghouls. Perhaps maybe Shannon would like to be acquainted at some point.
Where did they say you can't go?
To the Rose Garden.
There's a nightclub called the Rose Garden. It's run by one of our kind, and he is of the anarch persuasion, which is something that wouldn't be tolerated by a prince, I think.
I mean, it's not like Mogius will be able to tell that we've gone there. Just he doesn't really have a lot of power. You could tell when you went in there that no one's really going to help him.
But in saying that, I wouldn't see my character ever wanting to go back to the Rose Garden again anyway. So, I mean, that's out of game.
I'm happy to do business at the Rose Garden. Yeah, why was his house so broken?
He is not.
I thought he'd live in a palace.
He is not typical of most princes.
You'll find that you'll meet some people that are a lot older than others, and a lot of them haven't adapted to the new world and the things, and some of them become envious of such changes as well, or perhaps they even hate such changes. I've encountered a few of these in my time as well. It's best to sort of not mention the fact that their place is falling apart, and let them live the way that they're accustomed to.
Yeah,
my theory on it anyway. What are we doing now?
Yeah.
Well, out of game, it's 5:04. So this is probably our break time.
Break time.
And we can resume at 7 if everyone's still resuming at 7.
Yep.
So we all go back to our own houses at this point, and then we will pick it up at the next one.
Yeah.
Because I assume we'll want to get back together again.
Is going to show up anyway, so pop in and go with them.
What's Shannon's character? What's Shannon going to do for the next I don't know, whatever the intermittent time is between this game and the next session.
Like the in world time.
Yeah.
If Chase or Jimmy don't tell him to come along, then he's probably going to go do those drops at the clubs. He's got some clients that were waiting.
Right.
Has some extra stuff on him for just go sell.
Chase will also get him and Jimmy during the day to look for a warehouse.
Okay.
To look for a warehouse and especially one with an underground part or close to an underground part.
So my real question to Shannon is, does he, during the day when none of these vampires are around, when everything's normal, go, what the fuck just happened and I have to tell somebody? Is that what happens, or does he contain it all? Does he manage?
Is there a time limit on dominate or not?
Time limit on dominate.
So Vincent successfully dominated.
I think it's until it's been overwritten or something, isn't it?
Generally speaking, I tend to play it that over time they can make more checks against it if they want to. But
no, I think Shannon goes home, has a cold shower, then maybe spends some time on a beach or in a forest somewhere bright with sunlight to just kind of process.
So envious.
Counteract
those places.
Counteract darkness.
Just something a little, real.
That makes sense. Okay.
Grounding.
Right. Fair enough. Well, with that, then Shannon's on the beach. On Lake Michigan.
That would be so nice.
Beach. Yeah. It's not that great a beach, to be honest. It's the Windy City, and you're in Chicago. It's not not like a nice beach, but
it's like a Wellington beach in winter.
Yeah, right.
And I'll also help Jimmy look for warehouses in Gary.
All right.
Yep.
Okay. All right then.